Chapter 1964. That huge hand of true essence contained an incomparably violent true chi. It instantly locked Qin Fun in that space. He even felt that his divine knowledge was restricted, and his body was unable to move. This was definitely the embodiment of the realm. The hand stopped in midair, and the beast cultivator, named Hai Qiji's expression changed drastically. He stared at Qin Fun in disbelief. "You're just a true spirit cultivator, and you can speak in this old man's realm?" Not only was Hai Qiji surprised, but the other three powerful cultivators also had surprised expressions. In fact, they all knew what Hai Qiji was thinking. He saw that Qin Fun was a human cultivator, so he wanted to kill Qin Fun first. He didn't expect Qin Fun to be able to speak in his realm. This kind of thing was almost impossible, but the truth was right in front of them. After a few seconds, not only could Qin Fun speak, but he also flew out of Hai Qiji's realm. "Senior Hai, I killed someone in the 80-mile city because that person challenged me to a life-and-death battle. In the end I killed him. I believe Senior Hai will give me justice." Qin Fun's words cut off Hai Qiji's path of retreat. Everyone knew that the 80-mile city was a fair and open city. If Hai Qiji insisted on killing Qin Fun in front of everyone, then the prestige that the city had built up for hundreds of years would be gone. Hai Qiji was angry that he had been taken advantage of by a junior, but his anger was soon replaced by shock. Qin Fun actually broke his realm? How was this possible? "Kirio, is what he said true?" the human cultivator in the sky asked. Kirio didn't dare to speak carelessly. After all, many people had seen Mu Jingyi challenge Qin Fun, and this matter couldn't be faked. Replying to Senior Xian Hai, the celestial gourd disciple did challenge him to a life-and-death battle. Xian Hai nodded and didn't say anything else, but it was very clear what had happened. Hai Qiji's expression was very ugly. He had a very bad impression of Qin Fun. A true spirit cultivator actually broke his realm. How could he let such a peerless human cultivator live? However, now was not the time to make a move. Hai Qiji glared fiercely at Qin Feng, thoroughly memorizing his appearance and aura. Just as the four protectors were about to leave, Mu He hurriedly said, "Senior Hai, please wait. Putting aside the death of my disciple, that ant dared to steal my cultivation furnace. This is a clear violation of the rules of the 80-mile city. Senior Hai, please uphold justice." Hai Qiji stopped in his tracks. He wanted nothing more than to kill Qin Feng, but he lacked an excuse. Now, Mu He had given him an excuse. Qin Fun also realized that this demon cultivator of the 80-mile city was dissatisfied with the human cultivators. Before the demon cultivator could make a move, Qin Fun immediately cupped his hands towards Xian Hai and said, "Senior Xian, there is an inside story regarding the cultivation cauldron. I hope Senior can uphold justice." "What secrets? Hurry up and tell us." Xian Hai also rushed back. Hai Qiji secretly dispersed the Jin Yuan that he had just raised, and his face was covered with a layer of frost. He could only wait for the right opportunity. Qin Fun rejoiced that he made the right bet. The four protectors of the 80-mile city all had different identities, and they were all cultivators that protected him. "Senior Xian, I spent 1,000,000 upper-level spirit stones to buy that old man, but in that person's mouth, it became robbery. He's simply slandering me." Xian Hai's expression changed instantly, and he said in a low voice, "Kirio, is there such a thing?" "Senior Xian, this is a bit complicated. Listen to me carefully." Kirio was trembling in fear. Even a hollow god realm beast cultivator like him couldn't breathe under Xian Hai's violent chi. It could be seen that the four protectors of the 80-mile city all had extraordinary realms. Kirio continued, "Originally, the cultivation cauldron caught the eye of Elder Mu He of the Immortal Gourd, and he had already discussed with our trading company to come pick her up in the afternoon. But then, this person suddenly rushed to the trading company and wanted to take the cultivation cauldron away. I had no choice but to tell him about the 1,000,000 deposit. The purpose was to make him back off." Before Hai Qiji could find a chance, Qin Fun immediately yelled, "Which means you did take my 1,000,000 deposit." There was no way to lie about this. Kirio's face was gloomy, and he nodded helplessly. Qin Fun sneered, "Ha! He only said a few words, and you said that the human cauldron was his." I gave him 1,000,000 spirit stones. But you said that I was the one who stole the human cauldron. If the protectors of the 80-mile city can't even uphold this little bit of justice, then there is no justice in this city. Qin Fen's words were too explosive. He dared to question the 4 protectors of the 80-mile city in public. Many cultivators had gathered to watch, and they all revealed shocked expressions. Hai Qiji's face was so cold that it was about to freeze, but he couldn't get angry now. Killing Qin Fen was a small matter, but losing his dignity was a big matter. Xan Hai's expression was calm, and his voice was not angry. Good, Kirio. Ever since the 80-mile city was established, it has been open to the public. You used your power to open a shop in the city, to bully the weaker customers. This is a serious violation of the city's rules. I think your dominating Heaven Furnished Trading Company doesn't want to continue operating. Even if you beat him to death, Kirito would never have thought that things would escalate to this point. He was only a small elder of the trading company. If the trading company was closed because of him, the president and the other elders would definitely skin him alive. Senior Xian, please calm down. Our trading company will not interfere in this matter. We will listen to Senior Xian's arrangements. After saying this, Hai Qiji's face darkened. To put it bluntly, this matter didn't need to be reasonable. It depended on who had the courage. In the end, the true spirit realm human cultivator was calm, but the nihility god realm beast cultivator, Kirio, retreated first. Elder Kirio, what do you mean by this? I reserved those cultivation cauldrons this morning, and you're going back on your word? Muhi was unhappy. He couldn't afford to lose face like this. Facing Xan Hai's power, Kirio didn't care so much. Compared to whether the trading company could continue operating in the 80-mile city, offending Muhi was nothing. At most, he would stop doing business with the immortal gourds in the future. Dominating Heaven Furnished Trading Company didn't lack customers. Elder Mu, you only said you wanted to make a reservation, but you didn't do anything. The other party already paid 1,000,000 spirit stones, so you can only sell the cultivation cauldron to him. Kirio had a determined expression. Muhi almost fainted from anger. One of his disciples had just died, and now he was humiliated in front of everyone. How was he going to show his face in the South Pingzhou state in the future? The reputation of the immortal gourds would be ruined. Kirio, I'm an old customer of your trading company. How dare you give the cultivation cauldron to someone else? Aren't you afraid that I won't come to your trading company in the future? It's your business whether you come or not, but our dominating Heaven Furnished Trading Company has always followed the rules of the 80-mile city. There's no need to talk about that cultivation cauldron. As for the other 20 or so cultivation cauldrons, we can continue to trade with you. Muhi. Chapter 1965. Muhi finally understood the situation. There was no need to talk about friendship in the Divine Supreme Continent. In front of absolute strength, friendship was nothing. Kirio was obviously afraid of Xian Hai and directly sold him out. Everything was clear now. Qin Fen was the one in the right, and Muhi was being unreasonable. Since everything is clear now, give the cauldron to this young cultivator. If anyone has any objections, you can tell me. Xian Hai's words sounded like a negotiation, but his tone was very domineering. Even if Muhi was very unwilling, he didn't dare to offend Xian Hai's dignity. He couldn't see through Xian Hai's realm, and he was afraid that Xian Hai could kill him with one palm. The dominating furnished trading firm has no reason to do so. Our deal with that person is complete, and the cauldron belongs to him. Kirio quickly said. Qin Fen heaved a sigh of relief. It wasn't just Earth that was full of schemes. The Divine Supreme Continent was also full of sinister and cunning people. Fortunately, he was aware of these problems in advance, which was why he gave Kirio 1,000,000 spiritual stones. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to save his grandfather, and would have died. Seeing that the matter was settled, Hai Qiji coldly snorted, and disappeared into the sky. The other 2 protectors also left. Xian Hai gave Qin Fen a meaningful look. Before leaving he said, I have time in the next few days. If you have time, come to the Autumn Leaf Pavilion to find me. After the 4 protectors left, the fierce true yuan in the surroundings quickly dissipated. The oppressive atmosphere also disappeared. The crowd that was watching the show suddenly woke up. Many people looked at Qin Feng with envy. Rumor had it that the 4 protectors of the 80-mile city were all cauldron-filling realm experts. They rarely showed themselves, but Senior XN Hai showed up this time, and even invited Qin Feng as a guest. This old man will remember you. Don't let me see you outside the 80-mile city. Otherwise, it will be the day of your death. Muhi didn't have the face to stay. He coldly snorted and left, not even taking the other cauldrons. After the 4 protectors left, Kiryo's cold expression returned. He glared at Qin Feng with a murderous expression. If this guy didn't trick him, he wouldn't have offended Elder Muhi. Even if the dominating furnace trading firm wasn't afraid of a 6-star sect, no one would want to offend a 6-star sect for no reason. Let's leave this place first. Qin Feng suppressed the joy in his heart. This time, he didn't come to Tsang Island in vain. Even if he couldn't find the treasure map that Aku gave him, he was satisfied that he was able to find his father and grandfather. Kirito could only watch helplessly as Qin Feng and the other 2 left. The cold glint in his eyes seemed to be about to freeze. But at this moment, a violent aura surged in the hall. When this aura appeared, Kirito's expression immediately tensed up. Kirian greets senior apprentice brother Himon. Unknowingly, a bright light shadow appeared in the air above the hall. It was the sign of someone who had surpassed the empty god realm. That figure was shrouded in dazzling light, and it was impossible to see his face clearly. A cold voice rang out. You can't even deal with a mere true spirit realm human cultivator. You've really lost the face of our dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company. The president and the elders are very dissatisfied with your performance, so they sent me to help you deal with that brat. Kirito trembled in fear. He already knew that this matter would cause the upper echelons of the trading company to be angry, but he didn't think that they would send people over so quickly. In the next moment, Kirito felt a chill down his spine. He even suspected that the president might be nearby, but because the 4 protectors of the 80-mile city jumped out, the president and the others couldn't show themselves. Thinking of this, he knelt on the ground with a plop and began to kowtow in various directions. Lord President, this is my mistake. I hope that Lord President can forgive this lowly one. This lowly one definitely won't let that human cultivator go. I want him to know the consequences of offending the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company. Seeing Kirito kowtow with all his might, Himon coldly said, Enough, don't plead for leniency. Lord President is busy in seclusion and doesn't have time to care about other people's business. However, the vice president already knows about this matter. Now take me to that human cultivator. As long as he dares to leave the 80-mile city, I will take his dog life. Feng, I really didn't think that I would be able to see you again. Grandfather is too excited. Dad, Feng, the people of the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company definitely won't let this go. We have to leave this place as soon as possible. After the 3 of them left the trading company, Qin Feng immediately booked a room in an inn in the 80-mile city. Qin Shirtian was still unable to calm down from the joy of reuniting, but Qin Huang was a bit worried. Grandfather, eat these bottles of pills first and then rest for a while. As for leaving the 80-mile city, there is no need to rush. Qin Feng maintained a calm mind. Qin Huang hurriedly said, Feng, I know you are dissatisfied with the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company, but we are still not their match. That beast cultivator called Kirito is only a small elder of the trading company. It is said that the great elders of the trading company have all stepped into the body condensation realm, and the president's strength is unfathomable. Qin Feng patted his father's shoulder and said with a smile, Dad, you misunderstood me. Of course I know how powerful that trading company is, so we can't leave the 80-mile city right now. At the very least, we have to find an opportunity to escape. Qin Huang was a bit puzzled, but Qin Shirtian understood the situation after calming down. Feng is right. Killing is not allowed in the 80-mile city, so it has become our protective umbrella. If we leave the 80-mile city, I believe we will be killed as soon as we get out. Qin Huang suddenly came to his senses. Right. The dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company must have sent people to keep an eye on us, so we can't leave now. Qin Feng didn't have to explain himself when his father and grandfather realized the root of the problem. In fact, even if he didn't offend the dominating heaven-furnished trading company, Qin Feng still planned to stay in the 80-mile city for a few more days. First, he wanted to look around the shops, and second, he wanted to find Hai. Since Hai was willing to speak up for him, it meant that this senior had no evil intentions towards him. After coming to the Divine Continent, Qin Huang and Qin Shitian were so happy for the first time. The reason they came here from the martial arts world outside of China was to find Qin Feng. And now they finally found him. Qin Feng let the two of them rest in the room, while he arranged a 5th-grade defensive formation and a 5th-grade killing formation. Only then did he leave the inn with a peace of mind. Qin Feng swaggered along the bustling streets of the 80-mile city, not trying to hide his footsteps, as if nothing had happened. Soon, he felt a few divine senses sweeping toward him. These people had different cultivation levels, ranging from Buddha light to void god realm. Kirito's aura was also among them. Chapter 1966. After discovering that he was being followed, Qin Feng began to wander aimlessly within the 80-kilometer radius of the city. He even purposely went to relatively remote places with fewer people. However, no matter where he went, as long as he was within the 80-kilometer radius of the city, Kiryu and the others didn't dare to make a move against him. Realizing that he was absolutely safe in the 80-mile city, Qin Feng didn't care about the people from the dominating heaven-furnished trading company. He even used his divine sense to send a message to Kiryu, purposely saying some infuriating words. "Is your dominating heaven-furnished trading company a bunch of wild dogs? Why are you following this grandpa around? If you want to make a move, then come. Don't just follow like a turtle." When these words fell into the ears of Kiryu and the others, they were so angry that they almost went berserk. But after the anger, Hai Meng revealed a shocked expression. He was a body condensation realm cultivator, so how could a true spirit cultivator send him a message? As for Kiryu, he realized that the message he sent to Mu He and the trading company had all been heard by Qin Feng. At that time, he felt that Mu He had tricked Qin Feng, but now he knew that they had been tricked by Qin Feng. What is this guy's cultivation? Why can he send us a message? Hai Meng sent a message to Kiryu. Before Kiryu could reply, he heard Qin Feng's arrogant voice. "You don't need to be suspicious. This grandpa is just a true spirit cultivator. You have a void god realm and a body condensation realm cultivator, but your divine sense is so weak. Are all Yao cultivators so weak? Ayaya, you're really pissing me off. What else can an ant like you do besides having a glib tongue? If you have the ability, then fight with this old man. Do you dare?" Hai Meng forgot that Qin Feng could hear his message, and he almost fainted from anger. Kiryu chose to shut up because he had experienced Qin Feng's sharp tongue. He started to pray for Elder Hai Meng. "I'm not a violent Yao cultivator. I don't like to casually fight and kill. Moreover, fighting is forbidden in the 80-kilometer city. You want to trick me with the intelligence of a 3-year-old? Qin Feng's voice was smug. Hai Meng's face darkened and he shouted in a low voice. "Grandson ant, do you dare accept this old man's life and death battle? If you don't dare, then you're a turtle. You really know how to pick people to fight. Why don't you challenge Senior Xa and Hai to a death match? Was it fun to bully a junior? I guarantee that as long as you challenge Senior Xa and Hai, I will immediately accept your challenge to a death match. If you don't dare, then you're a coward." Hai Meng was a body condensation state supreme being, but he felt like his brain was running out of blood. It was impossible for him to challenge Xa and Hai. Xa and Hai was a cauldron-filling state supreme being. A body condensation state beast cultivator, like him, would be courting death if he challenged him. Not to mention him, no one had ever challenged Xa and Hai in the hundreds of years since the establishment of the 80-mile city. When Hai Meng was almost angered to death, he finally realized how vicious Qin Feng's tongue was. He immediately shut his mouth and stopped talking. He even understood why Kirito didn't help him fight. However, just because they retreated, it didn't mean that Qin Feng would stop. Along the way, Qin Feng kept on talking. Several times, the cultivators of the dominating heaven-furnished trading company began to doubt their lives. Several Buddha light boundary demon cultivators directly vomited blood and suffered internal injuries because of their unstable state of mind. However, these demon cultivators had enough perseverance. Even after being scolded by Qin Fun, they still followed behind him. Qin Fun realized that the people of the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company couldn't be scolded away, so he didn't bother with them anymore. Coincidentally, he passed by a store called All Complete Trading Company and walked in. This store was huge and of a much higher grade than the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company. There were many cultivators in the store, walking around the dazzling display of goods. Qin Fun quickly understood. The dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company was a store that specialized in furnaces, and this all-complete trading company sold all kinds of cultivation resources, from crystals to pills and weapons, as well as materials for forging formations and treasures. "Sir, what do you need?" An extremely flirtatious young woman walked over. She had the unique aura of a beast cultivator. Qin Fun realized that this all-complete trading company was also opened by a beast cultivator. Just as he was about to leave, his eyes swept over a row of display cabinets in the corner of the room. They were filled with all kinds of beautiful crystals. In fact, Qin Fun had a good understanding of crystals. Whether it was spirit stones, fire spirit stones, spirit crystals, or even soul crystals, he had them all. However, this was the first time he saw the colorful crystals on the display cabinets. When he swept them with his divine sense, he could feel a strange energy fluctuation. "I want to buy some crystals." Qin Fun's eyes swept over the row of cabinets. The flirtatious young woman immediately understood and led him over with a smile. "Sir, we have all kinds of crystals from the sea. That row of cabinets mainly sells sea heart stones. The price is the lowest in the entire 80-mile city. Sir can choose without worry." Only then did Qin Fun know that these colorful stones were called sea heart stones. He also understood why he had never seen these crystals before. It was because sea heart stones were crystals found in the fallen god sea. Aside from the demonic cultivators living on the islands, it was very difficult for human cultivators to find these stones. He immediately thought of the large amount of sea heart stones needed to forge the immortal artifact Heaven Rainbow. Now that he had collected the immortal flower stones, the feathers of the level 8 spirit bird 1000-year bird, and the radiance stone, he could buy some more sea heart stones and many other materials he already had. The day of Heaven Rainbow was getting closer and closer. "How much are these sea heart stones?" Qin Fun asked. "Sir, 100 high-grade spirit stones can buy one sea heart stone. If you buy more, I can apply for a discount from the elder." Sea heart stone was one of the main materials to forge Heaven Rainbow. The refining process needed to melt a lot of sea heart stones and then extract the purest crystal, so Qin Fun needed a lot. "If I buy 100,000 sea heart stones, what's the price?" Qin Fun asked casually. The flirtatious young woman immediately revealed a look of surprise. Originally, she saw that Qin Fun was only a true spirit cultivator and didn't look like a rich person. She didn't expect him to ask for such a big business. "Young hero, please wait a moment. I'll go find the elder. You can talk to him directly," the young woman said and immediately disappeared. Qin Fun wasn't in a hurry. He walked around other places, but didn't find the treasures he wanted. The people from the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company were still following behind. Although both sides couldn't do anything, there were still a few stray dogs following, which affected Qin Fun's mood. "Young hero, is it you who wants to buy 100,000 sea heart stones?" After a while, a beast cultivator who looked like a small old man walked over. He had a pair of horns on his head. Qin Fun didn't know if it was because he failed to transform, or he deliberately left this appearance. Chapter 1967. I plan to buy 100,000 sea heart stones in one go. Can you sell them? What's the price? Qin Fun cupped his fists. The horned old man's eyes flashed with joy, and he said gently, "Our Wangquan Trading Company has 100,000 sea heart stones. Young hero, you look unfamiliar, so it should be your first time here. Then I'll sell this business to you at a loss, and treat it as making you my friend. How about this? I'll give you a 20% discount." The nervousness in the little old man's eyes did not escape Qin Fun's eyes. According to the 20% discount, 100,000 sea heart stones were equivalent to 8 million high-grade spirit stones. This amount of spirit stones was an astronomical figure for ordinary cultivators, but it was nothing to Qin Feng. However, he wasn't someone who would take a loss. Seeing that the other party clearly had room for negotiation, he naturally wouldn't offer 8 million. All right, I'll go look around somewhere else. Qin Feng turned and left. The old man and the seductive female employee were stunned. The old man hurriedly shouted, "Young hero, don't be in a hurry to leave. I'm the little elder of this trading company Jibei. May I know young hero's name?" Qin Feng's expression was indifferent, but he was secretly happy. He knew he guessed correctly. "Junior Qin Feng, is there anything else Elder Ji needs?" Jibei chuckled. "Young hero Qin, there's no need to look elsewhere. I, Jibei, can assure you that in the entire 80 miles, our Wangquan Trading Company has the highest quality sea heart stones. Our president personally found them in the heart of the fallen god sea." Qin Feng didn't believe Jibei. When he was in the North Sand continent, he went to the outer islands of the fallen god sea. The beasts there were already level 5 and 6. The Dragonrise Trading Company's airship even encountered a level 7 horned sea beast. If he went deeper, even level 8 and 9 beasts were common. Even if the Wangquan Trading Company was established by a Yao cultivator, the president couldn't possibly cross the heart of the fallen god sea. It's not the quality of the sea heart stone. Qin Feng thought for a while, and turned to leave. "Forget it, I'll go look elsewhere." Jibei panicked. He knew Qin Feng wasn't satisfied with the price. "Young hero Qin, if it's the price we can negotiate." Qin Feng stopped. "Oh? Senior Ji, please state your lowest price. I'm a straightforward person. If it's the price I want, I'll buy it. If it's not, I'll look elsewhere. 30% off." Just as Jibei said this, he immediately added, "Forget it. I said that I just wanted to make friends with young hero Qin. I'll give you a 40% discount. This price is already the lowest I can offer. Even if you find the great elder, or even the president of my guild, I can only give you this price." This time, Jibei's expression was solemn, without a trace of nervousness or obscurity. Qin Feng realized that a 40% discount was indeed Jibei's bottom line, and this price was out of his expectations. He originally thought that Jibei would give a 30% discount at most. He didn't think that in the time it took to say a few words, he would save 2 million spirit stones. All right, since Senior Ji is so straightforward, then I, Qin Feng, am not a pretentious person. I will only discuss this deal with your esteemed bank. Jibei was overjoyed. Although a 40% discount wouldn't make much money, if he could make friends with a nouveau riche like Qin Feng, he wouldn't have to worry about not having money in the future. However, before he could finish being happy, Qin Feng's expression changed, and he said gravely, "But before we do business, I have a request. If your esteemed bank can't do it, then I'll have to reconsider this deal." Jibei didn't understand. "Young hero Qin, please speak. If I can do it, I definitely won't say no." Qin Feng used his divine sense to sweep over Kilio and the others and said coldly, "Those are my enemies. I don't want to see them, or else I won't even be in the mood to talk business." Jibei immediately understood. Because there were frequent arguments between cultivators in the 80-kilometer city, and because fighting wasn't allowed here, some cultivators would follow their enemies and wait for them to leave the 80-kilometer city before making a move. When he swept over with his divine sense, Jibei let out a sigh of relief. He knew two of them. They were the two elders of the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company. However, the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company paled in comparison to the all-complete trading company. Jibei didn't put Kilio and Hai Meng in his eyes at all. "Young hero Qin, don't worry. Since you are our esteemed guest, we will naturally let you have peace and quiet when we talk business. There won't be any small fries coming to disturb us," Jibei promised, and then walked towards a nearby hall. Qin Feng followed, and let out a sigh of relief. He knew that he guessed right. This all-complete trading company was much more powerful than the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company. Otherwise, Jibei, who was at the middle stage of the Nihility God realm, wouldn't dare to confront Hai Meng. who was at the body condensation realm. Elder Ji, how have you been? When Jibei walked closer, Haiming immediately cupped his hands and greeted him. He was a mighty body condensation realm cultivator, but he was so polite to a nihility god realm cultivator. If you weren't here, I would definitely be in a good mood. Jibei's face was cold. Haiming and Kiryu were confused. Usually, they would greet each other politely, but what was wrong with this Jibei today? Elder Ji, your business is getting bigger and bigger. Your business is booming all the time. Haiming continued to say nice things. There was a saying that one shouldn't hit a smiling person. However, this trick didn't work today. What welcomed him was a cold sneer from Jibei. Why does my business need your concern? If you have nothing to do, then go back to your own company. Haiming rolled his eyes and almost attacked him. Kiryu quickly put on a smile and tried to smooth things over. Senior Ji, Elder Hai and I just happened to pass by here. If Senior Ji is busy, then you don't have to entertain us. Entertain you? You didn't go mad in your cultivation, right? Why don't you look at your status? Do I need to entertain you? Kiryu. Haiming couldn't take it anymore. Although the dominating heaven-furnished trading firm couldn't compare to the all-trading firm, he was still a body condensation state supreme being. In terms of cultivation, he could be considered a senior in North G. This old man must be looking for trouble. Jibei, what do you mean? Haiming's face darkened. What do I mean? Is your IQ so low? Can't you read people's expressions? I don't welcome you here. Hurry up and leave. Jibei's attitude was tough. At this time, many customers had come over and started discussing. Aren't those two elders of dominating furnish trading company? Why are they arguing with the elder of Wangquan Trading Company? They're not arguing with Elder Ji, but Elder Ji wants to chase them away. I'm guessing that the two trading companies are fighting because of competition. Dominating Furnish Trading Company is just a small trading company that sells furnaces. How dare they cause trouble at Wangquan Trading Company? Are these two fellows here to court death? It's also because the city forbids fighting. Otherwise, the Grand Elder of the all-knowing trading company would have come out long ago. I heard that a few of the Grand Elders of the all-knowing trading company are cauldron-filling state, and the president is disaster transformation state. When Kiryu and Haiming heard the discussion, they were so angry that their necks turned red. Qinfeng was shocked. He didn't expect the trading companies in the 80-kilometer city to be so powerful. There was even a disaster transformation state president here? This was already comparable to the top 4 7-star sects of the South Flat Continent. It might even surpass them. Seeing that everyone was optimistic about Wangquan Trading Company, Jibei was proud but said coldly, I'm warning you one last time, leave immediately. Don't affect the mood of our customers. When he said this, he glanced at Qinfeng. Kiryu and Haiming were enlightened. Jibei, you actually chased your own people away for a human cultivator. Haiming, will remember this in my heart. His voice was still echoing in the room, but Haiming had already disappeared. Kiryu then reacted and ran away in fright. At the same time, he cursed Haiming for being immoral and not reminding him before leaving. After seeing the people of dominating Furnace Trading Company leave, Jibei heaved a sigh of relief. If it wasn't for the deal with Qinfeng, he definitely wouldn't offend dominating Furnace Trading Company for no reason. Even if Wangquan Trading Company wasn't afraid of them, there was no need to make enemies for no reason. Moreover, Haiming was a body condensation state senior. Jibei looked calm, but he was on guard. He was afraid that Haiming would attack him in anger. After the group of wild dogs left, Qinfeng was in a good mood. He successfully completed the deal with Jibei. When he put the 100,000 sea heart stones into his storage ring, Qinfeng was extremely excited. These crystals were very difficult for human cultivators to obtain. If he hadn't come to the 80-kilometer city, he wouldn't have been able to collect so many sea heart stones, even if he spent 10 million high-grade spirit stones. Young hero Qin, if you're not in a hurry to leave, you can stay and participate in our auction. After the deal, Qinfeng planned to leave but was stopped by Jibei. Auction? Are there a lot of treasures to be auctioned? Qinfeng was slightly more spirited. He still lacked a few materials to make heaven rainbow. Jibei saw that Qin Feng didn't even blink when he took out 6 million high-grade spirit stones. He knew that Qin Feng was rich. He immediately explained enthusiastically, "Young hero Qin, I'm afraid this is your first time in the 80-kilometer city. You came at the right time. Our company is one of the 3 big trading companies in the 80-kilometer city. The 80-kilometer city holds a large-scale auction every year. All the big trading companies will jointly display their treasures. This year's auction is in 3 days." Qin Feng didn't expect his luck to be so good. He originally planned to visit Senior Enchanting and then leave the 80-kilometer city. After knowing that there was a large-scale auction, he wanted to stay a few more days. "All right, I'll come find Elder Ji then." Because of the sudden change of plans, Qin Feng planned to visit Senior Enchanting after leaving Wangquan Trading Company. Then he would attend the auction in 3 days. Once the auction ended, he would leave with his father and grandfather. Enchanting said that he lived at the Autumn Leaf Pavilion. The Autumn Leaf Pavilion was a very famous spirit building in the 80-kilometer city. Qin Feng casually asked a few people on the way and arrived at the place. The Autumn Leaf Pavilion was built on a mountain peak that reached the clouds. When Qin Feng stood at the foot of the mountain and looked up, he felt that the spirit building was floating in the clouds, giving off an illusory feeling. Chapter 1968. Just as Qin Feng was about to fly up the mountain, he realized that there was a flight restriction formation around the mountain. Normal people couldn't fly up unless they walked. This mountain range was majestic and towering. If one were to walk alone, it was unknown how long it would take to reach the peak. "Young hero Qin is here. Come in through the formation door." Just as Qin Feng was fretting, Enchanting's voice came from the mountain. A white formation door appeared at the foot of the mountain. When Qin Feng stepped into the formation door, he was transported to the top of the mountain. Don't underestimate this short transportation time. But it proved that this towering mountain was taller than Qin Feng had imagined. Even a rank 6 Earth Escape talisman could transport people thousands of miles in a second. The transportation formation just now was also a rank 6 one, and its effect was many times better than a rank 6 Earth Escape talisman. The spiritual energy at the top of the mountain was thick, and the field was huge. One couldn't see the end. The Autumn Leaf Pavilion stood on the plain and stood out among the herb gardens. When Qin Feng saw the 4 boundless herb gardens, he was stunned. There were hundreds of types of spiritual herbs in the 4 herb gardens. There were many rank 4 and rank 5 spiritual herbs. There were also quite a few rank 6 and rank 7 spiritual herbs. There were even a dozen rank 8 spiritual herbs, and a few rank 9 spiritual herbs. As a rank 5 rank 7 pill king, Qin Feng couldn't resist the temptation of spirit herbs. When he saw the rank 9 spirit herbs, he reached out without thinking. But before he could get close to the small herb garden, a strange energy wave quickly spread over. Qin Feng's footsteps suddenly stopped. His body was still in a running state, like a movie that had been paused. "This is a boundary?" Qin Feng's expression was serious. He immediately realized that he was trapped by a boundary. Not only could he not move, but he could also speak with difficulty. This sudden boundary seemed to be even stronger than Hai Qiji's boundary. Or when Hai Qiji fought Qin Feng, he didn't even use his full power. The boundary he used was just a casual move. But no matter what, the opponent in front of him didn't even show his face and used a boundary to trap Qin Feng. Other than Enchanting, who else in the Autumn Leaf Pavilion could have such a powerful technique? "Senior Enchanting, what do you mean?" Qin Feng was confused. No one spoke, but a faint aura of death exploded and shot out in the boundary. It was a streak of sword chi, like a rainbow piercing through the clouds. Cold sweat immediately broke out on Qin Feng's back. He couldn't move in this area. If he was hit by the ferocious sword chi, his entire body would probably explode into pieces. Break! At the moment of life and death, Qin Feng could no longer care so much. He fully erupted his divine sense, forming a new domain around him. When his own domain was formed, Qin Feng finally regained his ability to move. He quickly moved sideways, and the sword chi flew past his hair. "Senior Enchanting, what are you trying to do?" Qinfun's expression turned cold. He had initially respected Xianhai, but now that he had been attacked out of nowhere and had almost lost his life, his good impression of Xianhai had disappeared. Xianhai was still nowhere to be seen, and the realm that enveloped Qinfen suddenly changed. The change was very strange, as if it was a new realm created by another person. When the environment changed drastically, Qinfen's boundary instantly lost its effect. He felt his body stiffen again, and even simple walking became extremely difficult. Swoosh! This time, 2 streaks of sword chi flew at him at the same time. They were even fiercer than before. While Qinfen could still move, he took out imprisonment and slashed down without thinking. Dense black light appeared, quickly filling up the space around Qinfen. With the help of imprisonment, Qinfen's boundary became much stronger. His body regained its freedom, and he immediately rushed towards the autumn leaf pavilion. He slashed through the air and opened up a crack in the opponent's boundary. Rumble! Loud sounds rang out. The air seemed to crack open, and through the crack, Qinfen could see Xianhai floating in the air on the other side. Qinfen was instantly filled with anger. Without thinking, he rushed towards the crack. Xianhai put his hands together, and the crack quickly closed. Bang bang bang. A loud sound exploded behind Qinfen. When he looked back, his expression changed. He didn't know when, but the space around his boundary had cracked. Those cracks quickly formed a black hole that seemed to be able to swallow everything. With Qinfen at the center, the black hole surrounded him from all directions. Qinfen immediately used his divine sense to cast the boundary again and repair the damaged space. This process didn't last long. Qinfen felt a sharp pain in his divine sense. It wasn't that his divine sense had been attacked, but that he had used the boundary continuously. It was too much for him. This was the first time Qinfen felt the strong divine sense needed to cast the boundary. In the past, he only needed to cast the boundary once to easily kill his enemies. Now, after casting it 5 or 6 times, he felt like he was about to collapse. When the boundary that he had painstakingly repaired was easily broken again, Qinfen felt despair. Even if his divine sense was dozens of times stronger than cultivators at the same level, and even surpassed many late-stage Void God Realm cultivators, it was nothing before a powerful cultivator who was rumored to be in the cauldron-filling realm. Qinfen gave up resisting. He planned to escape to the Star World. This way he could save his life. However, the secret of the Star World might be discovered by Xianhai. What about his father and grandfather? Just as he was thinking, the collapsing space suddenly disappeared. In front of him was a fairyland surrounded by clouds and mist. There was a boundless plain on the top of the mountain, and 4 alluring herb gardens. It was as if the moment of death was just an illusion. Xianhai floated in the air in front of Qinfen. You are indeed only at true spirit realm level 9. But you have comprehended boundary to the peak of minor success. This is a miracle in the South Flat continent. Qinfen was wary of Xianhai. He just stared at him and didn't reply. Xianhai laughed bitterly. Hee, don't be nervous. I just wanted to test the level of your boundary. If I really wanted to kill you, I could do it at any time. You wouldn't be able to resist at all. Although these words weren't pleasant to hear, they were all true. Qinfen came to his senses. Although the battle seemed dangerous, Xianhai had purposely let him win. Otherwise, in front of a cauldron-filling realm cultivator, even he would be killed instantly. Junior has wronged Senior Xianhai. Qinfen cupped his hands and said. Xianhai laughed. This isn't your fault. This old man was too abrupt. When I saw that you could use boundary in the human cauldron trading company, I guessed that you used a concealment technique to hide your cultivation level. I didn't expect to find out that you are a true spirit cultivator. However, your boundary has already reached the peak of minor success. Based on this, you probably comprehended the existence of boundary when you were in the middle stage of true spirit realm. This is simply unbelievable. Chapter 1969. It was unheard of for someone at the early stage of true spirit to comprehend a realm in the South Flat continent. Even Xianhai had only touched the boundary of realm when he had just stepped into the Hollow God realm, and he was already one of the best in his generation. While Hai was shocked, Qin Fun was also amazed at his realm. After the previous fight, Qin Fun had experienced the power of Hai's realm. It was definitely at the advanced stage of realm. It was as if he could form a realm with just a thought, and could even change the laws of the realm. Especially when their realms overlapped, it produced a space that collapsed. The black hole-like space had a powerful devouring effect. So what if you have the cultivation of a virtual god of the true spirit? If you fell into such a space crack, you wouldn't even know how you died. Not only was Qin Fun afraid, but he was also extremely envious of the technique that could create space cracks. Only now did he truly understand how powerful a cauldron-filling state expert was. The techniques they used were far beyond Qin Fun's. Senior Xian, have you reached the advanced stage of your realm? Can you give me some pointers? Qin Fun couldn't help but ask. Hai was dazed at first before laughing. Haha, I didn't just use realm, I used field. It was the first time Qin Fun had heard of field, but he knew that field was something even higher than realm. Hai continued. Normally, when one reaches the hollow god realm, some cultivators can touch the boundary of realm. When they reach body condensation, they can reach the initial or advanced stage of realm. When they step into cauldron-filling state, they can touch the existence of field. Simply put, realm is a self-formed area that can temporarily restrict enemies. Field is the strengthened version of realm. Not only can it form a realm, but it can also change the magnetic field in the realm at any time. It can even cause space to collapse and create a destructive black hole attack. The reason why I used field against you was to see your cultivation. It seems that you really don't know about the field. You are still a true spirit cultivator. After Hai's explanation, Qin Fun had a basic understanding of field. He realized that realm was only a temporary self-formed area. As for the magnetic field in the realm, it wouldn't change at all. On the other hand, field was able to change the magnetic field in the realm, at will, forming an unpredictable realm space. These two techniques looked similar, but they were very different. At the very least, Qin Fun was very clear that if he wanted to comprehend them, he would need a very long time to ponder and comprehend them. You are the most talented cultivator among the juniors I have ever seen. I really want to give you some pointers and help you touch the edge of the field. However, such things can only be comprehended by yourself. If we could use language teaching, everyone in the South Pingzhou state would be able to use the field and field. But you don't have to worry. Since you can touch the realm at the early stage of true spirit, I believe that when you reach the hollow god stage, or the body condensation stage, you will be able to understand the existence of the field. Hai said some words of encouragement and comfort. Qin Fun nodded. He also knew that things like realms couldn't be expressed in words. If you hadn't come into contact with those things, it would be difficult for you to understand no matter how much others said. Perhaps one day, your eyes would suddenly light up, and you would understand many things without saying them. Qin Fun, the reason why I called you over is not just to test your cultivation. There is also a very important matter that will help you understand the field. Hai spoke again. Qin Fun immediately became spirited. After he saw the power of the field, he couldn't wait to learn it. He even thought that once he understood the field, even if he was at true spirit realm, he wouldn't be afraid of body condensation stage experts. Senior Xian, please speak. Have you heard of Grey Island's Sword Peak? Qin Fun really didn't know about Sword Peak. He didn't understand Grey Island at all. He only knew that Grey Island was divided into the 3 northern islands, Nanming Temple, and East Dragon Palace, after meeting his father not long ago. Seeing Qin Fun shake his head, Hai explained. Grey Island has 3 main areas. The 3 northern islands, Nanming Temple, and East Dragon Palace. However, there is a place called Sword Peak. That place is even more famous than the 3 main islands. Why? Is the Sword Peak very big? Qin Fun asked. Hai smiled and shook his head. The Sword Peak isn't big at all. It's just a mountain that reaches the clouds and looks like a sharp sword pointing at the sky. That's why it is called Sword Peak. Qin Fun was even more confused. How could a mountain be more famous than the 3 main areas like Nanming Temple? Before he could ask, Hai continued. The reason the Sword Peak is famous on Grey Island is because of the Sword Realm. There is an ancient formation hidden in that mountain. The formation has 9 layers, and each layer has a sword formation. Everyone calls it the Sword Realm. The Sword Realm opens once a year for 1 month. Every time it opens, many cultivators will come from afar to train. However, until now, no cultivator has been able to pass through the 9 layers of the sword formation. However, as long as one can step into the 5th layer of the sword formation, they will be able to obtain a heavenly enlightenment. Senior Exian wants me to train in the Sword Realm? Are there any requirements to enter the Sword Realm? Qin Feng was slightly excited. Exian Hai nodded. That's right. I called you here mainly for the Sword Realm. There are no other requirements to enter the Sword Realm, except that you must be a cultivator younger than 100 years old. Qin Feng was confused. There are trillions of cultivators in the South Flat Continent. Cultivators younger than 100 years old can be seen everywhere. Why did Senior Exian specifically come to me? Hehe. Qin Feng, you don't know this. There are dangers in the Sword Realm. Each layer of the sword formation contains killing intent. Many Hollow God Realm cultivators have died in there. To other cultivators, the Sword Realm is a treasure land for training. However, in the eyes of the 4 protectors of the 80-mile city, it's a battle for resources and power every year. Qin Feng did not quite understand, so Exian Hai explained in more detail. 80-mile city has been open to the public for hundreds of years. However, this fairness and justice is only what people see on the surface. In fact, the few guardians and the elders under us are always fighting against each other. Qin Feng could feel this. Not long ago, Protector Hai Qiji had been leaning towards the Yao cultivators, while Senior Exian Hai was leaning towards him. In order to let cultivators of the same kind have more convenience and resources, we 4 protectors decided to use the results of the Sword Realm as the main judge for the distribution of power next year. When the Sword Realm opens, each of us will send a contestant to enter. The contestant with the better result will get more power. This will directly affect the development of cultivators of the same kind in the 80-mile city. This time Qin Feng understood. The 80-mile city seemed to have all kinds of cultivators living in peace on the outside, but in reality, there were many signs of mutual rejection and suppression. The 80-mile city was a famous city on the outskirts of Tsang Island. Countless cultivators came here to buy resources every year. If Exian Hai's power weakened year by year, human cultivators would probably not dare to come to the 80-mile city in the future. Chapter 1970. Although he understood the Sword Realm and the agreement between Exian Hai and the other 3 protectors, Qin Feng still didn't understand why Exian Hai was looking for him. Suaming La Dream Xiao Shua Suaming La. There are many human cultivators under 100 years old in the South Flat Continent. There are many Hollow God Realm cultivators, and there might even be body condensation stage powerhouses. Why did Senior Exian ask me to participate? Qin Feng asked. Exian Hai laughed bitterly. Haha, young hero Qin, you still don't understand the Sword Realm. It tests a cultivator's understanding of realm and field. It doesn't mean that the higher your cultivation, the longer you can last inside. Qin Feng understood. Senior Exian is interested in my realm initial success? Exian Hai nodded. That's right. There are body condensation stage cultivators under 100 years old in the South Flat Continent, and there are countless Hollow God Realm powerhouses. However, there are only a handful of geniuses who can reach realm initial success. I'm afraid you're the only one who can comprehend realm initial success. In the past few years, the contestants I sent were always 3rd or 4th place. If I can't get 1st place this year, the city's requirements for human cultivators will become stricter and stricter. Qin Feng was very impressed by Exian Hai's thinking. As a senior, he was a true role model. This kind of selfless powerhouse was very rare in the Divine Supreme Continent. Qin Feng couldn't help but think of the barefoot enlightened being. Qin Feng had no reason to reject Exian Hai. As a fellow human cultivator, he too wanted to help his companions fight for more cultivation resources and benefits. Moreover, after witnessing the power of this place, he couldn't wait to get in touch with the beings who were present. In the end, Qin Fen agreed to meet Xianhai at the Sword Peak in a month when the Sword Realm opened. He didn't choose to go with Xianhai because he was afraid that his secrets about the system would be discovered. Secondly, he had offended dominating furnace trading company and celestial calabash elder Muhi. He believed that once he left the city, he would be hunted down by these two factions. However, he didn't care about them and planned to deal with them secretly. After leaving the Autumn Leaf Pavilion, Qin Fen immediately rushed back to the inn. Before leaving, Xianhai wanted to give him some cultivation resources, but Qin Fen rejected it. Right now, Qin Fen didn't lack cultivation resources. He didn't lack spirit stones, or spirit crystals. He even had 3 spirit essence ponds and 3 spirit veins in the astral world. After a simple greeting to his father and grandfather, Qin Feng entered his private bedroom and went into closed-door cultivation. He set up a shielding formation, a level 5 trap formation, and a level 5 defense formation in the room. Only then did he enter the astral world with peace of mind. The current star boundary was no longer the same as it was in the past. The 3 spirit veins flowed in a crisscrossing manner, and the surroundings of the tall tree of life were still shrouded in moonlight. As long as it was a plant that grew under the light, it would be very lush. There were many spirit herbs in the herb garden, and many of them had bloomed and bore fruit. The clear spirit grass was the main ingredient for refining the spirit charging pill, and the clear spirit grass was very rare on the continent. Most of them grew on the islands around the Godfall Sea. Qin Fen didn't lack spirit stones and spirit pills. What he lacked the most was time. If he had 8 to 10 years, he was confident he could reach the cauldron-filling realm. But he couldn't wait that long. Even if he could wait, his women and family couldn't. This time, Qin Fen wanted to use less than 3 days to break through to the Hollow God realm. Although the Hollow God realm was only 1 step away from the peak of the true spirit realm, the difference was like heaven and earth. He had killed a peak of the Hollow God realm, but he didn't have the confidence to kill a body condensation realm cultivator. But if he reached the Hollow God realm, he might not be able to, breaking through to the Hollow God realm in 3 days. If the cultivators of the South Flat Continent knew about this, they would laugh their heads off. But Qin Fen was serious. When he soaked in the spirit essence pond under the tree of life the next morning, his body felt like it was expanding. This was a sign that he was about to break through. After another half a day, that swelling feeling only increased. However, he didn't trigger the Hollow God lightning tribulation. Qin Fen realized that the opportunity to break through hadn't arrived yet. He immediately threw 10 spirit crystals around him. Now wasn't the time to be worried about cultivation resources. The 10 spirit crystals instantly formed a small spiritual chi whirlpool that spiraled above Qin Fen's head. He threw out array flags and quickly formed a simple level 5 spirit gathering array. That wasn't enough. He took out 2 void transformation pills and swallowed them. This was a type of level 6 tier 7 king pill. It was used to help early-stage Hollow God realm cultivators break through quickly. To a monster like Qin Fen who could eat pills above his cultivation level, the void transformation pill was exactly what he needed to break through to the Hollow God realm. Qin Fen could only refine level 5 tier 7 king pills now. This bottle of void transformation pills was obtained from the storage ring of the Hollow God realm cultivator he killed. However, this method of stealing and killing wasn't a long-term solution. He thought that he had to continue to improve his pill refining skills when he had time. When the 2 void transformation pills reacted in his body, Qin Fen felt that his body was about to explode from the ferocious spiritual chi. He didn't dare to be careless. He immediately took out the remaining 2,000 soul crystals and started to absorb them crazily. Spirit Pith Pool, Tree of Life, 10 Spirit Crystals, Level 5 Spirit Gathering Array, 2 Void Transformation Pills, 1,000 Soul Crystals. Qin Fen had only broken through to the Hollow God realm, and he had already taken out such a large amount of cultivation resources. Even a body condensation or cauldron-filling state expert would feel ashamed. The dense spiritual chi formed a semi-crystal state. At this moment, Qin Fen didn't even need to deliberately absorb it. The spiritual chi automatically surged into his body. He calmed down and started to absorb the soul crystals. Previously, after he absorbed over 1,000 soul crystals, his spiritual sea had a breakthrough. The strength of his spiritual sea was even comparable to a late-stage hollow god realm cultivator. Rumble. After an unknown period of time, a muffled sound exploded in Qin Fun's mind. He didn't step into the hollow god realm. Instead, his spiritual sea had a breakthrough. His mind became incomparably clear. Even the slightest movement in the wind was very real. When he released his divine sense, not only did the range of his divine sense double, the strength of his divine sense also became more realistic. It was as if he had released countless threads. Rumble. Not long after his spiritual sea had a breakthrough, a loud sound came from Qin Fun's body. The sky above his head was quickly filled with thunderclouds. This was the sign of breaking through to the hollow god realm. Lightning exploded in the sky. Each bolt was as thick as a person's waist. However, the strength of the lightning didn't increase by much. At least, it was within the range that Qin Fun could accept. Lightning bolts fell from the sky as if they were free. After half a day, the thunderclouds above his head gradually dispersed. When Qin Fun looked at his body again, he realized that he had reached Nihility God Stage Level 3. In just 2 short days, he had gone from the peak of the true spirit realm to the 3rd level of the void god realm. No one would believe this kind of rocket-like breakthrough speed. Even Qin Fun was stunned. This kind of breakthrough speed was just too heaven-defying. Chapter 1971. When the lightning clouds above his head completely dispersed, Qin Fun's emotions slowly calmed down. He realized that the reason he was able to reach Hollow God Stage Level 3 from the peak of True Spirit wasn't by chance. This was the result of his constant life and death battles. In reality, Qin Fun's true essence had already reached the Hollow God Stage long ago. He just lacked the opportunity to break through. When the opportunity came, the barrier between Hollow God Stage Level 1 and Hollow God Stage 3 would be easily broken. The reason why his cultivation stopped at Nihility God Stage Level 3 was because Nihility God Stage Level 4 was the intermediate stage of Nihility God Stage. Qin Fun believed that once he broke through the bottleneck of Hollow God Stage Level 4, he would be able to break through Hollow God Stage Level 5 and Hollow God Stage. When he looked at his body again, Qin Fun found that the spirit core in his body had turned into 3 clones. The 3 clones were bright and lifelike. They were many times stronger than the clones of other Hollow God Stage cultivators. At this moment, Qin Fun deeply felt the benefits of the sure-kill lightning tribulation. This lightning tribulation was a double-edged sword. Not only could it destroy a cultivator, it could also allow a cultivator to grow quickly. As long as a cultivator could withstand the power of the lightning tribulation, their body would be stronger than other cultivators of the same level. Not only would their body be strengthened, even the clones formed after reaching Hollow God Stage would be extremely powerful. Feng Er, you're out. You've reached Hollow God Stage? When Qin Fun walked out of the room, Qin Huang and Qin Shitian immediately came up to him. Their eyes were quickly attracted by the 3 floating figures behind Qin Fun, and they revealed expressions of disbelief. In just 3 short days, Qin Fun went from peak of true spirit to Hollow God Stage Level 3. This kind of breakthrough speed made even him speechless, let alone his father and grandfather. Qin Fun knew that no matter how much he explained, he wouldn't be able to calm them down. He nodded and said, "The annual auction of the 80-mile city is about to begin. I'll go see what good things are there. You two can stay in the room. Once the auction is over, I'll come here to pick you up." Emperor Qin and Emperor Qin knew that the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company would not let this matter go. They were worried about Qin Feng's safety and wanted to warn him. However, when they thought that he had already reached Empty God Realm Level 3, they swallowed their words. The annual 80-mile city auction was held as scheduled, and the location was the most famous sea view tower in the city. The Sea View Pavilion was established on a boundlessly spacious square. When one stood within the Sea View Pavilion, one would be able to gaze upon the Godfall Ocean in the distance. The boundlessly vast azure ocean was extremely beautiful, and it caused one to be extremely fascinated. However, as human cultivators of the Divine Supreme Continent, They knew very well that the fallen god sea was not a place that could be easily entered. It was the territory of the monster cultivators. In other words, the deepest part of the fallen god sea was a land of death that not even the monster cultivators could cross. By the time Qianfen arrived, the plaza was already crowded with cultivators. Some of them were from the Chamber of Commerce of the 80-kilometer city, but most of them were tourists who came to participate in the auction. Qianfen had participated in countless auctions, but this was the first time he participated in an auction where cultivators of various races coexisted. Not only were there human cultivators in the plaza, but there were also demon cultivators, devil cultivators, and even ghost cultivators. Moreover, there was no need for them to conceal themselves, and they stood in the plaza in their original forms. Haha, young hero Qin is here. A familiar voice sounded in Qianfen's ear. The air behind Qianfen rippled, and a figure appeared. The person who came was the little elder of the Wangquan Trading Company, Ji Bei. However, this was only a clone of him. Although Qianfen had broken through to Hollow Spirit Realm Level 3, he suppressed his cultivation to the peak of True Spirit Realm. This wasn't because he was pretending to be weak, but mainly because Ji Bei and Kirio already knew that he was at the peak of True Spirit Realm. It had only been 3 days, and if he showed off his Hollow Spirit Realm Level 3 cultivation, they would probably be scared to death. Elder Ji. Qianfen nodded his head as a form of greeting. Ji Bei wasn't angry, and said with a smile, "The 80-kilometer city's annual auction is very big, and there will be countless treasures publicly auctioned. I believe young hero Qin won't be disappointed. If you like our auction items, I can help you apply for a discount after the price is set." The reason why Ji Bei wanted Qianfen to stay was so that he could bid for their products. This was the common thought of all businessmen, especially when Qianfen bought 100,000 sea heart stones 3 days ago. He didn't even blink when he paid, so it could be seen that he was an extremely wealthy cultivator. If there's really something that I like, then the price is not a problem. Qianfen was very confident. Putting aside whether or not he would be interested in any treasures in this auction, he had to ensure his own safety first. Now that he had displayed his wealth, he would naturally be able to gain Ji Bei's favor. Later on, when the auction started, if Kirio and the others dared to cause trouble, he believed that the All Trading Company wouldn't sit idly by. The two of them exchanged a few polite words before Ji Bei's clone left. He was probably going to entertain the other rich cultivators. Qianfen didn't care about this. Instead, he liked the peace and quiet. However, not long after, a few figures landed around him and surrounded him. Senior brother Mufeng, it's that ant that doesn't know life from death. This ant is only at the True Spirit Realm. Is there a need to call me over? Senior brother doesn't know. This guy probably has some kind of magic treasure, or cultivated a top-grade cultivation method. Although he's only at the True Spirit Realm, he can easily kill cultivators of the same generation. Mu Jingyi's disciple was instantly killed by him. The two people who spoke were wearing the Immortal Gourd Sect's uniform. They were Mu He and Mu Feng. When Qianfen saw them, he immediately understood that Mu He must have gone to find Mu Feng for revenge after leaving the city. Qianfen was quite familiar with Mu Feng. When he fell into the Immortal Gourd Sect from the bottom of the 10,000 Lotus Lake, he was watched by Mu Feng and Mu Zhen. Then, during the genius competition, Qianfen lost control of his emotions when he saw Duo Air and killed Mu Zhen, who was at the peak of the Void God realm. Now this Mu Feng was a supreme cultivator who had stepped into the body condensation stage. If Mu Feng appeared a few days earlier, Qianfen would definitely be worried. He might even bring his father and grandfather away from the city. However, now that he had stepped into the Nihility God stage level 3, Qianfen even desired to fight with Mu Feng. He wanted to see where his limits were. Not only were there people from the Immortal Gourd sect, there were also a few men with demonic chi. Kirio and Hai Meng were among them, and there were a few subordinates with weaker cultivations by their side. Surnamed Qin, you actually dare to stay in the 80-mile city? I think you must be tired of living. Hai Meng's anger soared to the heavens. It seemed that the humiliation of being kicked out of the all-knowing trading company 3 days ago was still fresh in his mind. Back then, Qin couldn't see through Hai Meng's cultivation. Now that he scanned him with his divine sense, his mind was clear. This was a body condensation stage 1 demonic cultivator. Such a powerful formation was hard for normal cultivators to fight against. But it was nothing to Qin, who was at the Void God Realm level 3. Not only was he not afraid, he even smiled and said to Hai Meng, "I know you. 3 days ago, you went to the Wangquan trading firm and were chased away by Elder Ji Bei." This matter had spread through the entire city and became an indelible humiliation in Hai Meng's heart. He hated it when people mentioned this, but Qin touched his reverse scale. A loud sound came from Hai Meng's body, and powerful true essence surged. He stared at Qin like he wanted to devour him, and said word by word, "Brat, say it again if you dare. Are your ears bad? I said you were chased out of the Wangquan trading firm 3 days ago. Wasn't that person you?" Qin wasn't afraid at all, and even raised his voice by a few decibels. Many cultivators heard his voice and looked over. When they saw Hai Meng full of killing intent, they couldn't understand Qin's actions. In their eyes, Qin was just a peak true spirit cultivator. How dare he challenge the dignity of a body condensation state demonic cultivator? "Elder Hai Meng, don't do anything. Otherwise you'll fall into that brat's trap." Kirio anxiously transmitted his voice. Hai Meng retracted his hand, which had been raised in midair. A sweet taste rose up in his throat, but he forcefully swallowed it back down. He was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. "Let's see how long you can be arrogant for. If you have the guts, then hide in the 80-mile city for the rest of your life." Hai Meng coldly said and turned to leave. The people of the dominating Heaven Furnace trading firm also left. Ji Bei, who was standing far away, let out a sigh of relief. He was afraid that the two sides would really fight. At that time, it wouldn't be up to him to help Qin. After Kirio and the others left, Mu Feng and Mu He still stood to the side. They didn't have any intention of leaving. Not to mention that they were in the 80-mile city. Even if they were outside, Qin wouldn't be afraid of them. "What are you guys still doing here? Do you want to take revenge for Mu Jingyi? If you want to take revenge, then hurry up and do it. If you don't dare to do it, then scram." Qin specialized in exposing his enemy's scars. His words made the two tremble in anger. Mu He had already experienced Qin's venomous tongue, so he gradually calmed down. However, Mu Feng found it hard to calm down. Especially with the recent troubles with the immortal gourd, his heart was filled with anger. "Your cultivation is mediocre, but you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. I've seen many ants like you. In the end, they all died tragically in the wilderness." Mu Feng threatened in a low voice. This move didn't work on Qin. He retorted, "This is what I wanted to say to you. You're already over 100 years old, but you're still at the body condensation realm. To think that the Immortal Gourd sect is a 6-star sect in the South Plateau continent. Are the disciples of the sect as slow as you? If that's really the case, the Immortal Gourd sect will self-destruct in a few decades." Mu Feng's eyes rolled, and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He was now 100 years old, and had already stepped into the body condensation realm. There were trillions of cultivators in the South Plateau continent, but there were very few who could step into the body condensation realm before 100 years old. He didn't expect that in Qin's eyes, he was a slow and useless cultivator. In the entire South Plateau continent, only Qin dared to say such arrogant and ignorant words. "Haha, you're indeed an ignorant ant. I'm afraid you'll never be able to step into the body condensation realm. You can only enjoy talking. I can understand your feelings." Mu Feng suddenly laughed. Chapter 1972. I'm not even 30 yet, and I'm already at the peak of the true spirit realm. It won't be a problem for me to reach the peak of the disaster transformation realm when I'm 100 years old. Let me ask you, when you were 30, were you not even at the peak of the Buddha light realm? Mu Feng's laughter stopped. He really wasn't at the peak of the Buddha light realm when he was 30. At that time, he had just reached the late stage of the Buddha light realm, and this was achieved with the help of the sect's resources. If he cultivated alone, it would be difficult for him to reach the Buddha light realm. Sway_Meng. You're twisting words and forcing logic. If you have the guts, then fight to the death. Don't talk nonsense. Mu Feng was about to explode. Qin Feng was so excited that he almost accepted Mu Feng's challenge. He had just stepped into the empty god realm level 3, and needed a master like Mu Feng to practice with. But when he thought about the fact that he was in the 80-kilometer city, Qin Feng gave up on the idea. If he accepted, he would have to display his empty god realm level 3 cultivation. That would attract the attention of Kirito and the others. Even Exa and Hai wouldn't be able to accept his speed. Ha ha ha. Weren't you so arrogant just now? Why aren't you talking now? Mu Feng thought Qin Feng was afraid of him and laughed again. Qin Feng looked at him, as if he was looking at an idiot. There were so many idiots in the divine continent. Each one of them was tired of living, and came to seek death. Senior brother Mu Feng, I didn't expect to see you here. How have you been? A laugh could be heard, and the airflow in the surroundings fluctuated slightly. Before anyone could notice, a man in a white robe was already standing in front of Mu Feng. Mu He cupped his hands and greeted. Immortal Gourd Mu He greets Senior Wumian. Su Wumian smiled and waved his hand. Ha ha! Junior brother Mu He, you don't need to be so polite. We're all disciples of 6-star sects, and our sects have a good relationship. Before he could finish, Su Wumian's expression changed. He stared coldly at Qin Feng and shouted, It's you, kid? Then he looked at Mu Feng and asked, Senior brother Mu Feng, is this your Immortal Gourd's disciple? Mu Feng had never seen Su Wumian act like this before. He immediately realized that there was a big problem and quickly explained, Junior brother Wumian, you've misunderstood. This kid has nothing to do with the Immortal Gourd. He even has some grudges with it. Su Wumian heaved a sigh of relief. She was afraid that Mu Feng would say that Qin Feng was a disciple of the Immortal Gourd. The moment she saw Qin Feng, Su Wumian immediately recognized him. This was the person that the Xinkuan sect had been searching for months. Before the genius competition, did you go to Panshan Market's Xinkuan workshop? Su Wumian's expression was cold. Qin Feng had long recognized Su Wumian. She was the great elder of the Xinkuan sect. She was the one who had issued a citywide warrant to kill Qin Feng, forcing Qin Feng to change his identity and appearance to Qiao Feng. Qin Feng knew that she had come for the spirit turtle shell. If he had been caught by Su Wumian several months ago, he would probably have died. But now that he had met her again, he did not show any mercy at all. You're not mistaken. I was the one who bought the ornament on the azure crane blade. Back then, we were both willing parties. Why are you bringing this up now? Qin Feng's voice was cold. After confirming Qin Feng's identity, Su Wumian was both happy and angry. She was happy that she had found Qin Feng, but she was angry at Qin Feng's arrogant attitude. That ornament is extremely important to the Xinkuan workshop. Here are 100,000 spiritual stones. Hand it over. Su Wumian casually tossed out a storage ring. There were 100,000 high-grade spiritual stones inside. Back then, Qin Feng had spent 100,000 spiritual stones to buy the level 9 spirit turtle shell. The Xinkuan workshop's waiter in Panshan Market thought that he had made a great profit. In the end, he was almost scolded to death by Su Wumian. Now the seal on the spirit turtle shell had already disappeared when the gate of life was opened. The spirit turtle shell had become a simple level 9 material. Even if he gave it back to Su Wumian, she probably would not want it. But Qin Feng would not give it to her. Once Su Wumian discovered that the seal on the spirit turtle shell had disappeared, he would definitely know that he had found the mountain of life. Hee, Elder Su sure knows how to joke. I did spend 100,000 spiritual stones to buy that ornament, but I like it very much. Why would I sell it? Qin Feng laughed. Killing intent flashed across Su Wumian's eyes. Clearly, he was running out of patience. If it were not for the fact that they were in the city, why would he waste his time talking to Qin Feng? He would just slap him to death and search through his storage ring for the spirit turtle shell. 200,000 high-grade spiritual stones. Su Wumian showed no signs of backing down. He immediately doubled the price. Mu Feng and Mu He did not know what was going on between Qin Feng and the Xinkuan school, so they could only watch from the side. I've said it before, the ornament is not for sale. Perhaps Elder Su's ears are not working? Qin Fen's face was slightly cold. Su Wumian's body immediately surged with violent true yuan. As the grand elder of a 6-star crafting sect and a body condensation cultivator, when had a junior ever dared to speak to him like that? Brat, don't be so ungrateful. My patience is limited. 1 million spiritual stones, will you sell it or not? Su Wumian was panicking. The spirit turtle shell was the key to opening the Mountain of Life. There were countless legends about the Mountain of Life, and each legend indicated that there was a rare treasure hidden inside. Mu Feng and Mu He were shocked. Some of the cultivators watching were also surprised. They had no idea what Su Wumian wanted to buy, but from what he said, it should be an ornament. It was hard to understand why a mere ornament would be priced at 1 million high-grade spiritual stones. Just when everyone thought Qin Fen would change his mind under the temptation of money, they heard him say coldly, "Looks like Elder Su is very rich. All right, since you like that ornament so much, I won't force you. I'll sell it to you for 1 million spiritual stones." 1 million spiritual stones? The crowd gasped. Everyone looked at Qin Fen strangely. Many people thought he was crazy. Su Wumian was enraged. Even if he knew the use of the spirit turtle shell, there was no way he would spend 1 million spiritual stones to buy it. Not to mention, he didn't have 1 million spiritual stones on him. Brat, are you tired of living? Su Wumian's body exploded with murderous intent. Qin Feng's expression didn't change. You really don't know how to be grateful, old man. I reluctantly gave up my ornament and sold it to you. But you want to kill me instead. Are all the disciples of the Xinkuan sect this ungrateful? Su Wumian's powerful aura dissipated. He had seen shameless people before, but he had never seen a cultivator as shameless as Qin Fen. You're the one humiliating me, and you still have the face to say the words ungrateful. Good. Very good. I'll go deal with the auction first. When I'm free, I'll teach you a lesson. After Su Wumian calmed down, he realized that he was in the 80-mile city. His back was covered in a layer of cold sweat. Just now, he almost attacked Qin Fen. He could imagine that if he made a move, before his attack could even land on Qin Fen, he would be slapped to death by the guardian of the city. After Su Wumian left, Mu Feng and Mu He were still standing on the side. Qin Fen realized that these two weren't here to cause trouble for him. It was very likely that they were here to participate in the auction. Seeing his enemies run away one after another, Qin Fen was in a good mood. He was even more certain of the authority of the 80-mile city. Killing was not allowed here. Even the elders of the 6-star sects didn't dare to break the rules here. Although Mu Feng and Mu He's soul would occasionally scan Qin Fen, he didn't care about them at all. In the 80-mile city, no one could do anything to the other. Qin Fen just treated it like he was being stared at by wild dogs. As time went on, there were more and more cultivators in the square. Suddenly, 4 shadows appeared in the sky. Before this, no one noticed the existence of these 4 people, not even Qin Fen. The 4 people in the sky were shining with a blinding light. It was so bright that people couldn't open their eyes. These were the 4 guardians of the 80-mile city. When the surging aura from their bodies spread out, it immediately formed an invisible pressure, causing the noisy crowd in the square to quieten down. Welcome friends from afar to participate in the annual auction of the 80-mile city. The auction will be conducted fairly and openly. Anyone has the right to bid. Killing is strictly prohibited here. I hope everyone can maintain order. Hai Qiji, as the representative of the Guardians, said some opening words. During this time, his eyes inadvertently glanced at Qin Fen. A faint murderous intent flashed across his eyes. Qin Fen clearly sensed this murderous intent. However, with his current cultivation, he couldn't fight against Hai Qiji, so he pretended that nothing had happened. The auction started on time. There were more than 100 companies participating in this auction. They were all from the 80-mile city. Qin Fen also saw Su Wumian in the line of companies. It seemed like the Xinkuan Tool Workshop also had a shop in the 80-mile city. Other than the established companies, there were also many cultivators who signed up for the auction to auction their treasures. If their treasures were successfully auctioned, the profits would be split with the main organizer of the 80-mile city. The organizer of the auction was most likely the four guardians of the 80-mile city. This cooperation method was similar to other auction houses, so Qin Fen wasn't surprised. However, when he saw Su Wumian confirming the auction item with the organizer, a plan suddenly popped into his mind. Young hero, you also want to auction an item? Yes. Qin Fen walked to the auction venue and was immediately greeted by a worker from the organizer. The worker continued to say, if you're auctioning an item in your own name, the organizer will take 30% of the profits. What do you think? Qin Fen wasn't really here to auction an item, but when he heard that the organizer wanted to take 30% of the profits, he was shocked. This ratio was too high. Moreover, the 80-mile city's auction was very popular. After this auction, who knows how much money the 80-mile city would earn? All of that money would probably fall into the pockets of the four guardians. Young hero, do you still want to auction? The worker reminded. Qin Fen quickly woke up and said, you misunderstood. I'm not auctioning an item in my own name. I'm from the Xingkuan sect. Chapter 1973. The shop assistant was stunned. Oh, so you're a disciple of the Xingkuan sect. But your shop has finished counting the auction items. What are you doing here? Qin Feng smiled. It's like this. After Elder Su Wumian checked the auction items with you, he found that there was a bottle of pills that he forgot to register. I'm here to replenish it. There were countless auction items in the 80-mile city auction every year. It was very common for Qin Feng to replenish the auction items. The shop assistant didn't think too much. He took out a pen and paper and said, all right, take out the replenishing item and I'll register it. Qin Feng was secretly delighted. He took out a normal-looking jade bottle. Inside was an entire bottle of Spirit Surge pills. Spirit Surge pills only appeared in the North Sand continent and didn't exist in the South Flat continent. This is a bottle of energy conversion pills. Our Xingkuan Weapon Workshop plans to auction it. Qin Feng handed over the jade bottle. The shop assistant only wrote down the name of the pill and the name of the Xingkuan Weapon Workshop. He didn't even open the jade bottle. All right. Are there any other items? Qin Feng let out a sigh of relief. He knew that his guess was right. For a large auction like this, there wasn't enough manpower. There was no time to check the items one by one. Moreover, the auction company or individuals couldn't give false information. If they were investigated, they would be the ones in trouble. There's nothing else. Qin Feng left after finishing his business. He couldn't help but look forward to what kind of commotion the Spirit Surge pill would cause. After waiting for a while, the 80-mile city auction officially began. The first auction item was placed on the round auction stage. The first and last items of each auction were very rare and precious. This time, the opening item of the 80-mile city was a high-grade true artifact-grade sword, which immediately caused a sensation among the crowd. The treasure sword was called the Jade Water Sword. It was dark green and covered with water patterns. The patterns seemed to flow by themselves. It was like a dark green lake had formed the sword. As soon as the sword was displayed, many people in the square recognized it. If I'm not wrong, that's a jade water sword. It's said that the jade water sword was made from the sea crystals of the fallen god ocean. If a cultivator with a water spirit root obtains this sword, their power will increase exponentially. This old man lacks a high-grade true artifact-grade sword. What a pity! This true treasure sword is specially used by cultivators with water spiritual roots. Many cultivators who were planning to bid for the Jade Water Sword immediately gave up on the idea when they learned that it was a treasure sword specially used by cultivators with water spiritual roots. Even so, there were still several hundred people waiting to bid for the true treasure sword. It was clear that there were quite a few cultivators with spirit roots in the South Flat continent. Director Hua, what's the starting bid for this Jade Water Sword? Director Hua, you don't have to explain in detail. Don't waste my time. This sword is mine. The auction had not yet officially begun, but those cultivators who were preparing to bid for the item were already flushed with excitement. This kind of result made the participating companies and the organizers very satisfied. The little old man who was addressed as manager Hua raised his true origin and said, This jade water sword is a treasure sword provided by the 6-star equipment refining sect, the Star Kuan Weapon Workshop. The starting price is 10 million high-grade spirit stones, and each bid increment must be no less than 1 million spirit stones. In addition to spirit stones, bidders can also take out other cultivation resources as a condition for bidding, and the highest bid wins. As soon as Director Hu finished speaking, more than 10 voices rang out one after another. 15 million upper spiritual stones, 20 million spirit stones, 30 million spirit stones, 2 supreme grade spirit stones, and 10 ice spirit crystals. 100 million spirit stones, 10 fire spirit crystals, and 5 soul crystals. As the price was raised again and again, many cultivators who were bidding silently backed out. The current price was so high that they were powerless. Qin Feng did not expect the first true treasure sword to be a treasure provided by the Star Kuan Weapon Workshop. It seemed that the Star Kuan Weapon Workshop was very powerful in the South Flat Continent, especially with countless spirit and true treasures in their sect. Otherwise, they would not have taken out a high-grade true treasure sword to auction. If Qin Feng did not already have a supreme-grade true treasure imprisonment saber, he would really have an urge to bid for the Jade Water Sword. However, he wasn't interested in the Jade Water Sword at all. Even if he didn't have a high-grade true artifact sword, he had bought a top-grade true artifact sword model not long ago at the Panshan City Square's goods exchange. He planned to use it to forge the immortal artifact Heaven Rainbow. Thinking of the Heaven Rainbow, Qin Feng remembered that he had not collected all the main materials to forge the Heaven Rainbow. He did not know if he would be able to find those materials at the 80-mile city auction. After 15 minutes, the bidding for the Jade Water Sword was coming to an end. Only 2 cultivators were still bidding, and the price of the sword was approaching a sky-high price. 500 million high-grade spirit stones, an earth-grade sword skill manual, 5 supreme-grade spirit stones, 5 level 7 demonic beast cores, and 10 soul crystals. I already said that this Jade Water Sword is mine. If you want to increase the price, I will fight you to the end. A black-robed elder, who was determined to win at the beginning, had a cold expression. Qin Feng scanned him with his divine sense, and could not see through his cultivation. However, he could feel a strong demonic aura from him. It was obvious that he was a demonic cultivator. The person bidding against the demonic cultivator was a human cultivator, wearing the uniform of the Heavenly Sword Sect. Qin Feng had a slight understanding of the Heavenly Sword Sect. This was a 6-star sect that specialized in the Tao of the Sword. Back at the Panshan Market Square, Qin Feng had obtained an extreme-grade true artifact sword model, which came from the Heavenly Sword Sect's young elder, Hu Chong. The Heavenly Sword Sect's elder was obviously not Hu Chong. When he heard the sky-high price of 500 million spirit stones, his face immediately became very serious. As a disciple of a sect that specialized in swordsmanship, a sword was very meaningful to him. Moreover, the Heavenly Sword Sect's great elder, Hu Yumian, was a cultivator with a water spiritual root. Therefore, the Jade Water Sword was made for him. Unfortunately, Hu Yumian only had 300 million spirit stones. Moreover, the old demonic cultivator also had an earth-grade sword skill, and many other precious resources. It was not something that Hu Yumian could compete for. When the sky-high price of 500 million spirit stones appeared, the crowd in the square immediately became excited. Which sect's elder is that old man from? His wealth is amazing. What sect's great elder? That's Tsong Island's Nanming Palace's great protector Chi Mei. So he's a demonic cultivator. No wonder he's so rich. Rumor has it that the islands around the Godfall Ocean are extremely rich in cultivation resources. There are countless spirit herbs and spirit stones. However, if we human cultivators haven't reached cauldron-filling state, we don't even dare to go deep into the Godfall Ocean. Rumor has it that disaster transformation state, and even truth realization state cultivators, have died in the Godfall Ocean. Heavenly Sword Sect's great elder, Hu Yumian, originally didn't know Chi Mei's identity. When he heard the crowd's discussion, he was in complete despair. Competing with Nanming Palace's great elder in terms of wealth? This was simply asking for humiliation. The exciting sound of bidding didn't appear for a long time. Moments later, Manager Hu said, Is there anyone who can bid higher than Protector Chi Mei? It's rare to see a top-grade cultivation artifact. If you miss this, you'll have to wait another year. Manager Hu tried his best to raise the price, but no one bid. It seemed that Chi Mei's price had reached the limit. The sky-high price of 500 million spirit stones had exceeded the expectations of Xingkuan Forge and the organizer of the 80-mile city. In the end, Manager Hu made the final call, and the first treasure of the auction went to Chi Mei. Chi Mei was in a great mood after getting the sword, and went to pay the fee. The auction continued, and the commotion caused by the blue water sword soon dissipated. Everyone focused on the new auction items. The level of the large-scale auction in the 80-mile city was extremely high, and the items being auctioned were all very precious. Medicinal pills were all rank 5 spirit pills and above, cultivation methods and martial skills were above profound grade, and from time to time, a few rank 7 spirit grasses were auctioned, as well as rare materials for refining and arrays. The atmosphere of the auction was heated. There were many cultivators competing for each item. However, these items still couldn't enter Qin Feng's eyes. He had better pills or cultivation methods and martial techniques in his storage ring. Halfway through the auction, the dominating Sky Furnace Trading Company's items were auctioned. Although they were called items, they were actually a large number of human cauldrons. There were human cultivators, devil cultivators, ghost cultivators, and even demonic cultivators in the human cauldrons. Qin Fen was a little upset when he saw these cultivators were locked in cages and pushed onto the stage. They were all people with flesh and blood, and they had family and friends. However, Qin Feng was powerless. He couldn't even solve his own problems, so he didn't have the energy to solve other people's problems. Moreover, the Divine Supreme Continent was a place where the strong preyed on the weak. Unfair things like this could be seen everywhere. If Qin Feng interfered when he saw injustice, he would die of exhaustion. The 108th item is the 88 human cauldrons provided by the dominating Sky Furnace Trading Company. These human cauldrons range from the immortal Qi realm to the true spirit realm. They will be sold as a package. The starting price is 5 million spirit stones, and each increment must be no less than 100,000 spirit stones, said Manager Hua. Qin Feng's heart sank. The starting price of the 88 human cauldrons was only 5 million spirit stones. In other words, a cultivator was only worth a little more than 50,000 spirit stones. Moreover, there were a few true spirit realm experts among the human cauldrons. They must have put in a lot of hard work to reach their current realm. In the end, they were bought for tens of thousands of spirit stones. Just thinking about it was enough to make him feel depressed. Senior brother Mu Feng, we'll take all of these human cauldrons. That way, we can satisfy the island lord's needs. Not far away, Mu He transmitted his voice to Mu Feng. You're in charge of the auction. The price is not a problem. We must get these human cauldrons, replied Mu Feng. That bastard Qin got lucky. If we get the 88 human cauldrons, we'll have to bring them back to Gourd Island immediately after the auction. We won't have the time to deal with that ant. Mu He's tone was full of unwillingness. Mu Feng sneered, he's just a true spirit realm ant. Killing him is only a matter of time. What's the trouble? Chapter 1974. The two were conversing through telepathy. Most people would not notice if they did not pay attention. However, Qin Fen had been paying attention to the immortal gourd and dominating furnace trading company's movements. Therefore, he heard every word of their conversation. 6 million spiritual stones, 7 million spiritual stones, 10 million spiritual stones and a pink flying sword. The 88 furnaces attracted the attention of many cultivators. In just half an incense stick's time, the price had reached 10 million spiritual stones. However, Mu He had yet to make a bid. He was waiting for the small fries to compete with each other for a few rounds. He wanted to scare off some of the weaker competitors before making the final bid. However, plans could never keep up with the changes. When the price rose to within the range of Mu He and Mu Feng's expectations, a voice suddenly rang out, shocking the crowd. 50 million high-grade spiritual stones. Whoosh! The crowd on the square was in an uproar. The few cultivators who were still arguing with each other shut their mouths and looked at Qin Fun in disbelief. For an ordinary cultivator, a cultivation furnace would not be of much use. Only a sect or an individual who practiced a special cultivation method could use a cultivation furnace to advance quickly. Therefore, the price of furnaces in the Divine Continent had always been stagnant. Furnaces were usually used by cultivators with low cultivation, such as True Spirit or Hollow God Realm cultivators. How could they be easily captured and used as furnaces? When Qin Fun raised the price from 10 million to 50 million, it was enough to shock the crowd. It's that bastard with the surname Qin. He must be going against us. I'm so angry. Mu He's face darkened. Mu Feng rolled his eyes. He was a body condensation stage cultivator. But he was so angry at Qin Fun's actions that his mind was in chaos. After a moment of silence, Supervisor Hu stood up and shouted, "Is there anyone who can bid higher than that cultivator?" However, no one bid. Qin Fun's method of raising the price was too fierce. Many people were still in a daze. Seeing that the 88 furnaces were about to fall into Qin Fun's hands, Mu He looked at Mu Feng anxiously and asked, "Senior brother, what should we do now?" "Humph. What else can we do? Compete with him." Mu Feng's expression was cold. Mu He said with a bitter expression, "Senior brother, that ant doesn't need a human furnace at all. He's obviously trying to trick us. I'm sure that as long as we increase the price, he will continue to increase it." Mu Feng glared at him and reprimanded, "We are disciples of a dignified 6-star sect, the Immortal Gourd. How can we be afraid of that ant? Let him increase the price. I want to see how much wealth he has. Even if we suffer a loss for now, we must kill that ant after the auction is over. At that time, we will take back all the money we lost from him." Mu He's eyes lit up, and all the worries in his heart disappeared. He shouted, 15 million spirit stones and 2 powder equipment. The plaza was in an uproar again. Mu He's price had changed their perception of him once again. Wasn't it just 88 furnaces? Was there a need to call out such a high price? You don't know yet, but the young cultivator who bid 10 million has a grudge against Elder Mu He of the Celestial Gourd. 3 days ago, they almost fought at the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company. Later, a disciple of the Celestial Gourd challenged that young cultivator and was instantly killed. I see. I was wondering how a mere 88 furnaces could reach a price of more than 10 million spirit stones. It turns out that it's not just an auction, but a battle between the two parties. That young man's cultivation is only at the peak True Spirit realm. How dare he challenge Elder Mu He's authority? The Divine Continent is really full of ants who don't know what's good for them. Haha, there's going to be a good show. I'm going to place a bet on how high they will raise the price. The odds are 3. 1 if it's less than 50 million spirit stones and 1.5 if it's more than 50 million spirit stones. Is there anyone who wants to bet? The atmosphere in the plaza was extremely lively. The cultivators who were watching were even more excited than Qin Fun and Mu He. When Mu He shouted 15 million spirit stones, he immediately looked at Qin Fun with an arrogant and playful expression. As soon as he finished speaking, he heard Qin Fun's indifferent voice saying, 15 million spirit stones and 3 powder equipment. The smile on Mu He's face instantly froze. Even though he knew that Qin Fun was going against the Celestial Gourd, Qin Fun's action of only adding 100,000 spirit stones on purpose was too provocative. Grandson with the surname Qin, don't look for trouble. Be careful or you'll lose your life. Mu He scolded. Qin Fun said indifferently, the 80-mile city's auction is fair and open. Are you not going to let others raise the price? Of course. You're from the South Flat Continent's 6-star sect, the Celestial Gourd. I'm just a lone cultivator, and I don't dare to say anything. If you're threatening me, then I'll withdraw. Mu He was stunned. Based on his understanding of Qin Fun, this kid was completely fearless. Why did he suddenly change and scare him away with just a few words? But in the next second, Mu He understood that Qin Fun wasn't afraid of anything. He was just digging a pit for him to jump into. Instantly, several powerful divine senses swept over Mu He. He even felt the air around him solidifying. His body felt like it was pressed down by a mountain, and he couldn't move. The 4 divine senses came from the 4 great protectors of the 80-mile city. It was said that the 4 of them were cauldron-filling realm almighties. Muhi almost fainted from being stared at by 4 cauldron-filling realm almighties at the same time. How dare you? You dare to cause trouble in the 80-mile city's auction? Do you believe that I won't destroy you with one palm? Enchanting's cold and majestic voice resounded through the entire plaza. Muhi was so scared that his body trembled. It was difficult for him to even speak. Even Mufeng panicked. As he cursed Muhi for being an idiot, he immediately cupped his hands and said, "Seniors, you've misunderstood. I, the Celestial Gourd Absolute, have no intention of causing trouble in the 80-mile city. It's also my junior brother's fault for being too rash. I hope seniors can forgive us. We'll strictly follow the rules of the 80-mile city." Since it's your first time, I'll let it go. If you dare to threaten me again, don't blame me for bullying you. Enchanting's voice was still echoing in the plaza, but his dazzling figure had already disappeared into the sky. Muhi and Enchanting heaved a sigh of relief and looked at Qin Fan viciously. "What are you standing there for? Continue bidding with that bastard. We must get those 88 cauldrons. This concerns the Celestial Gourd's dignity," Mufeng said telepathically. Muhi didn't dare to delay and immediately raised the price. 20 million spirit stones for 3 powder set spiritual equipment. Almost at the same time, Qin Fan also raised the price, 1 million spirit stones for 4 powder set spiritual equipment. 50 million spirit stones for 3 scarlet magic equipment. 1 million spirit stones for 4 scarlet magic equipment. The price kept rising. Qin Fan only raised the price by 100,000 spirit stones each time, and then added a spiritual equipment. This was a very provocative behavior. Soon, all the cultivators in the plaza understood what was going on. Haha, that young man is so interesting. He's going to piss off the 2 elders of the Celestial Gourd. Young cultivators these days don't use their brains. They're only looking for a moment of pleasure, but they don't care about the consequences. That cultivator reached the peak of the true spirit realm at such a young age. He's also a genius cultivator. Unfortunately, he's going to die soon. 88 cauldrons sold for 50 million spirit stones. He's really trying to save face. At this moment, Muhi and Mufeng's faces were as black as the bottom of a pot. Their faces seemed to have swollen from anger. "Senior brother, we can't go on like this." Muhi stopped raising the price. Mufeng said, "This damned ant, don't ever fall into my hands. I'm going to pull out his tendons, peel off his skin, and turn him into an immortal cauldron. He'll be invaded by spiritual insects every day and suffer a fate worse than death." Under Mufeng's seemingly amiable and righteous appearance, there was an incomparably cruel and dark heart. He continued, "Directly raise the price to 100 million spirit stones. When he continues to raise the price, then you can withdraw from the auction. This old man wants to see how that ant will get 100 million spirit stones. At that time, if he can't hand over the spirit stones, there's no need for us to do anything. The protectors of the 80-mile city will first kill him." Mufeng changed his strategy at the last minute. Muhi's eyes lit up, and he regained his spirit. "Senior brother, are you sure you want to do this? What if I raise the price to 100 million, and that bastard doesn't follow? That won't happen." Looking at how confident he was before, 100 million is just the beginning. He's sure that we won't back down. Then we'll beat him at his own game. After the 2 had reached an agreement, Muhi shouted, 100 million high-grade spirit stones, and 3 low-grade spiritual weapons. Whoosh! As soon as he finished speaking, the crowd went into an uproar. The large-scale auction in the 80-mile city was also halfway through, but there were very few treasures that could be sold for more than 100 million spirit stones. No one thought that a mere 88 cultivation furnaces could be sold for a sky-high price of 100 million spirit stones. Were the 2 elders of the immortal gourd sect stupid? However, aside from the 100 million spirit stones, the 3 low-grade spiritual weapons were even more exaggerated. If converted, they would be worth at least 300 million spirit stones. Moreover, they were treasures that were priceless. Muhi didn't care about the crowd's shock. After he raised the price, He waited anxiously for Qin Fun's voice. Previously, every time he raised the price, Qin Fun's voice would follow. However, this time, the situation was not good. Qin Fun didn't raise the price. Qin, why aren't you raising the price? After waiting for a dozen seconds, He couldn't help but ask in panic. Qin Fun's face was full of smiles. He heard the conversation between Mu Feng and Mu He. How could he continue to raise the price? It's none of your business whether I raise the price or not. You threatened me to back out of the auction. Are you trying to force me to raise the price now? As soon as he finished speaking, a powerful divine sense swept over Mu He. When that powerful and familiar aura surrounded him, Mu He was so scared that he almost knelt down. I didn't mean it like that. Mu He felt wronged. He didn't dare to offend Xan Hai. That's for the best. If you don't like me, just say it. If you can't, just hit me. I promise I won't fight back. Qin Fun smiled. Mu He and Mu Feng rolled their eyes. Fighting in the city? Do you think we're stupid? Chapter 1975. Are you going to increase the price or not? Mu He couldn't do anything to Qin Feng. He couldn't vent his anger, so he had to ask in a gentle manner. Qin Feng smiled and said, Do you want me to increase the price? When Mu He saw the smile on Qin Feng's face, an ominous feeling rose in his heart. He felt that his and senior brother Mu Feng's plan had been seen through. Ahem. If you want to increase the price, then increase it. It's better if you don't. I advise you not to increase the price. You're just a true spirit realm rogue cultivator. Where did you get so much wealth? Mu He wanted to provoke Qin Feng, but he used the wrong person. Qin Feng laughed and said, Haha. All right. Since you can see that I'm pretending to be rich, then I'll fulfill your wish. The 88 cultivation furnaces are yours. Congratulations to the two of you. Mu He and Mu Feng were speechless. Hey, you coward, are you really going to back out? Are you going to do something? Mu He became anxious. Spending 100 million spiritual stones and 3 low-grade true artifacts for 88 cultivation furnaces? Wasn't he sick in the head? I've already said that I'm backing out of this auction. This auction has nothing to do with me anymore. Could it be that Elder Mu He wants to force me to increase the price? Then I'll have to find Senior Xan Hai to help me. When Qin Feng finished speaking, Mu He immediately felt the familiar and powerful divine sense sweep over him again. Tears welled up in his eyes. How can you bully me like this? Are there any other cultivators who want to increase the price? Director Hu snapped out of his daze and shouted. The 88 cultivation furnaces were sold for 100 million spiritual stones and 3 low-grade true artifacts. This was a great surprise for the dominating Heaven Cultivation Furnace Trading Company and the organizers of the 80-mile city. In just a few seconds, Director Hu knocked the gavel and shouted excitedly, Haha! Congratulations to the 2 elders of Celestial Gourd for winning the 88 cultivation furnaces of the dominating Heaven Cultivation Furnace Trading Company. Please complete the handover procedures as soon as possible. The crowd was in an uproar. The final price of this auction was out of everyone's expectations. Mu Feng and Mu He stood rooted to the ground with bloodshot eyes. If this matter was known by the Island Master and the Vice Island Master, they would definitely skin the 2 of them alive. Therefore, the price of the 100 million spirit stones and the 3 low-grade true weapons had to be collected by themselves. And the culprit who caused all this was Qin Fun. The 2 of them immediately swept their gazes towards Qin Fun, revealing a ferocious expression. However, no matter how much hatred they had, they could only suppress it in their hearts. If they attacked Qin Feng in the 80-kilometer city, they would die before they could even harm a hair on Qin Feng's head. Senior brother, what do we do now? Why don't we pay the money together first, and then we'll kill that Qin brat to vent our anger? Mu He transmitted his voice. Mu Feng scolded him angrily. You idiot, can't you tell? That ant with the surname Qin can hear our voice transmissions, so stop spouting nonsense. Mu He's expression changed drastically. He subconsciously transmitted his voice again. How is this possible? That Qin brat is only at the true spirit realm. Even if he can hear my voice transmissions, how can he hear senior brothers? In the eyes of the 2, Qin Fun was still at the peak of the true spirit realm. They didn't even notice that Qin Fun had already stepped into the Nihility God realm level 3. Previously, Qin Fun had heard Mu He and Kiryo's voice transmissions, so Mu He knew that Qin Fun's divine sense was as strong as a Nihility God realm cultivator's. However, senior brother Mu Feng had already stepped into the body condensation realm. He didn't believe that a true spirit cultivator could eavesdrop on a body condensation realm cultivator's voice transmissions. Even Mu Feng couldn't figure out the reason, but he was sure that Qin Fun had really heard his voice transmissions. Before he could say anything, Qin Fun's voice had already entered their minds. Elders of the Celestial Gourd, don't be afraid. I'm just a true spirit cultivator. How could I possibly hear your voice transmissions? That's right. If you can't gather the money for the auction, I can help you inform the Celestial Gourd, and let all the disciples of the Celestial Gourd help you gather the money. Hot blood surged up their throats. If they didn't swallow it in time, they would have vomited blood on the spot. Ayaya, you true spirit ant. I want to see how long you can be so arrogant. Mu Feng was about to explode with anger. He waved his sleeves and walked toward the venue where the handover procedures were being handled. Mu He cast a murderous look at Qin Fun. He originally wanted to say a few harsh words, but when he thought of Qin Fun's poisonous tongue, he could only turn around and follow his senior brother angrily. No one cared about their departure. When the new auction item was pushed onto the stage, everyone's attention was immediately drawn back to the auction. The next few items were not bad, but they didn't enter Qin Fun's eyes. At this time, the auction was nearing its end, so Qin Fun couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. He deliberately stayed in the 80-mile city for 3 days, but he ended up with nothing. At this time, Director Hu's voice sounded again, and a new item was pushed out. There was a silk tray on the display table, and on the tray was a seemingly ordinary jade bottle. The next item is from the Xingquan Weapon Workshop. It's a bottle of vitality elixir. The starting price is 1 million spirit stones, and each increment must be no less than 100,000 spirit stones. The vitality elixir was a type of Class 2, Grade 7 King elixir. It could help peak stage Sage King cultivators break through to the Buddha light realm quickly. This was originally a rare and valuable elixir, but in today's large-scale auction, it didn't seem that eye-catching. However, there were trillions of cultivators in the South Plateau continent, and there were countless peak stage Sage Kings. Soon, tens of thousands of people jumped out to bid for this bottle of vitality elixir. The starting price of 1 million spirit stones soared to 10 million. Qin Fun, who had been in a bored state, suddenly became excited. Of course, he knew that this bottle of vitality elixir was auctioned under the name of the Xingquan Weapon Workshop. When did we auction off the vitality elixir? Su Wumian, who was in the Xingquan Weapon Workshop's group, frowned. Everyone knew that the Xingquan sect was the only 6-star smithing sect in the South Plateau continent. They had always refined and sold spiritual and true weapons, so when had they ever sold elixirs? The group of disciples stared at each other in confusion. Someone said carefully, "Great Elder Wu Mian, I don't think anyone auctioned off the elixir. We are a smithing sect, so how could we sell elixirs?" Su Wumian was depressed. If it wasn't a disciple of her sect auctioning off the vitality elixir, then where did this bottle of elixir come from? Even if the vitality elixir wasn't eye-catching in today's auction, it was still a bottle of Class 2 Grade 7 King elixir. It couldn't have been auctioned off under the name of the Xingquan Weapon Workshop, right? Wasn't that the behavior of a fool? For a while, the people of the Xingquan sect couldn't figure out the reason behind this. At this moment, the auction had already concluded. The bottle of vitality elixir was sold for 15 million spirit stones, and a level 5 spiritual herb. It was won by a peak stage Sage King cultivator. The result was good. The Xingquan Weapon Workshop had inexplicably earned 15 million spirit stones, and a level 5 spiritual herb. Even if they had to split 30% of the profits from the 80-mile city, it was still a lot of profit. Thinking up to this point, Su Wumian pretended not to know anything. However, before the new auction item was pushed onto the round stage, a cry of surprise came from the square. This bottle isn't vitality elixir. The 80-Mile City's auction house actually faked it? This shout immediately caused a commotion in the crowd. The 80-Mile City had been established for hundreds of years. Every year, it would hold a large-scale auction. Because there were many treasures and high integrity, it attracted many cultivators every year. But now, someone shouted that the 80-Mile City's auction was faked. How could the crowd not be shocked? Who are you? Don't talk nonsense here. Ever since the 80-Mile City was established, it has always been fair and open. Every year, it holds an auction that is fair and open. Fraud is not allowed. An ant like you dares to slander the 80-Mile City? Do you believe that I won't kill you with one palm? Instantly, for powerful divine senses locked onto the lone cultivator, who won the vitality elixir. The latter was so scared that he fell to the ground on his butt. As if realizing death was approaching, he hurriedly shouted, "Protectors, please calm down. I have no intention of slandering the 80-Mile City. But just now, Manager Hu clearly said it was a bottle of vitality elixir. What I got was a bottle of unknown golden elixir. What is going on?" Hai Qiji retracted the murderous intent around him. He indeed wanted to kill the lone cultivator, but he had already spoken. If he didn't find out the truth first, the prestige that the 80-Mile City had built up over hundreds of years would be gone. Hai Qiji's hand reached into the air, and the jade bottle, that was originally in the lone cultivator's hand, flew into his hand. He opened the bottle in front of everyone and poured out the elixir inside. Instantly, the fragrance of the elixir filled the air and floated around the empty square. The elixir inside the jade bottle was light green in color and emitted a bewitching light. There were hundreds of thousands of cultivators in the square, but none of them could recognize this elixir. What kind of elixir is this? Even Hai Qiji was puzzled. Xi and Hai seemed to be mumbling to himself. This elixir is only a level 4 level 6 golden elixir, but it has an indescribable mysterious aura. This is an ancient elixir. This is a bottle of ancient elixir. The protector suddenly exclaimed. A strange aura suddenly floated around the square. Everyone's eyes emitted a green light as they stared at the elixir in Hai Qiji's hand. If it was not for Hai Qiji's powerful cultivation base, someone would have rushed up to snatch it. A bottle of ancient elixir? That was a peerless treasure. Almost all cultivators in the Divine Continent had heard about it. The Divine Continent had developed for tens of thousands of years. The earliest ancient era was the era of Almighties. It was said that during that era, Void God Realm cultivators were everywhere, and Body Condensation Realm Almighties were as numerous as dogs. As for the cauldron-filling state, that was the beginning of cultivation. There were countless true form ultimate gods, and tens of thousands of true God Realm ultimate gods. The main reason for the prosperity of cultivation was the complete array of elixirs in that era. Up until now, many elixir recipes that existed in the ancient era had been lost and disappeared. Those elixir recipes that were passed down were called ancient elixir recipes, and were definitely peerless treasures that could only be found by chance. Chapter 1976. Xi and Hai had already regained his senses. He looked at the pill in Hai Qiji's hand and asked, "Brother Li Tian, are you sure it's an ancient pill?" Li Tian was the great demon cultivator protector of the 80-Mile City. He had a serious expression, as if he wasn't completely sure. "A long time ago, I came across an ancient abode by chance, and obtained a shocking fortuitous encounter there. It was precisely because of this that I was able to obtain my current accomplishments. Moreover, the medicinal pill in Hai Qiji's hand emitted an aura similar to that of the ancient ruins. I'm guessing that it's most likely an ancient medicinal pill." Li Tian's words were very persuasive. At his level, there was no way his senses would be wrong. The ghost cultivator protector suddenly shot out a black mist that shrouded the sky. When the black mist formed, the cultivators on the square realized they couldn't use their spirit sense to scan it. The crowd was in an uproar. It was as if the ancient pill had disappeared. "Yin Fei, what are you doing?" Xi and Hai asked coldly. Yin Fei's voice sounded like two pieces of metal rubbing against each other. Other than the three protectors in the black mist, no one else could hear him. "This is an ancient pill, and it's a spirit surge pill. Rumor has it that the spirit surge pill appeared in the North Sand continent 2 years ago. I didn't expect it to be true. Xi and Hai and the other two were shocked. This was a bottle of spirit surge pill. Although they hadn't seen the spirit surge pill before, they knew what it was. Rumor had it that the spirit surge pill was a level 4 or level 6 golden pill. But its effects were amazing. It could allow cultivators without spirit roots to have any spirit roots. However, the recipe of the spirit surge pill had been lost for a long time. It hadn't even appeared in the Eastfield continent. Now it was right in front of the 4 of them. This pill is a level 4 or level 6 golden pill. Could it really be a spirit surge pill? Hai Chiji's voice was trembling. As a cauldron-filling state cultivator, he rarely showed such a shocked expression. Although Hai Chiji's tone was questioning, he didn't need an answer. He was certain that the pill in his hand was the spirit surge pill. Xi and Hai, and the other two also realized the shocking fact, and had their own thoughts. Since everyone has discovered that this is a spirit surge pill, then there's no need for us to hide it. The reason why I released the Black Fog Poison Field was to shield everyone's divine sense. After that, we'll split this bottle of spirit surge pills evenly with our 3 senior and junior brothers. Infei expressed his stance. Hai Chiji immediately nodded and poured out all the spirit surge pills in the jade bottle, intending to split them evenly. Xi and Hai was jolted back to his senses, and he immediately stopped him. This is an item that the Starkin Weapon Workshop put up for auction, and it has already been won by that independent cultivator. How can we split it? Isn't that breaking the rules of the 80-mile city? Brother Shinhai, this is a bottle of spirit surge pills. Infei retorted. Don't talk to me about the rules of the 80-mile city. The rules here were set by the 4 of us. So it's up to the 4 of us to decide what to do. For the past several hundred years, the 4 of us have been maintaining the peace and stability of the 80-mile city. Now that we have a bottle of spirit surge pills as a reward, what's wrong with that? Hai Chiji also chimed in. I agree with Brother Infei's suggestion. We have worked hard to maintain the 80-mile city for several hundred years. So what's wrong with getting a bottle of spirit surge pills? Besides, other than the 4 of us, no one else knows that this is a spirit surge pill. Later, we can just return that independent cultivator's bid price to him and give the Starkin Weapon Workshop a bottle of energy transformation pills. And this matter will be resolved. Xi and Hai's expression was cold. He couldn't commit such a fraud. Li Tian, who had been silent all this while, suddenly spoke. I agree with X and Hai's suggestion. Our 80-mile city has been impartial for several hundred years. Now that our reputation has been ruined because of a bottle of spirit surge pills, it's not worth it. Infei and Hai Chiji's expressions darkened, and they didn't continue to split the spirit surge pills equally. Now that both sides had different opinions, the situation was in a stalemate. At this moment, the cultivators on the square were already in an uproar. They tried to use their divine senses to sweep into the black mist again and again, but they couldn't find anything. Some people started to shout the names of the 4 protectors, seeking an explanation, but no one answered them. Qinfen also tried to use his divine sense to sweep into the black mist, but after his first failure, he didn't try a second time. When his divine sense touched the edge of the black mist, Qinfen immediately understood what it was. It was extremely similar to the field that Senior Xi and Hai had used when he visited the Autumn Leaf Pavilion 3 days ago. Qinfen had seen Xi and Hai's field before, so he was sure that it wasn't Xi and Hai who had used this field. The black mist carried a familiar ghost cultivator aura, so Qinfen guessed that it was the ghost cultivator who had used it. Since he had used the field, Qinfen immediately understood the ghost cultivator's intention. That ghost cultivator had probably recognized the spirit surge pill and wanted to keep it for himself or share it with the other 3 protectors. However, even though he had guessed the ghost cultivator's intention, there was nothing he could do. After seeing the field, Qinfen realized how powerful it was. It was an upgrade of the realm, and with his current cultivation, he couldn't break it at all. Boom! At this moment, a muffled sound came from the sky. The black mist quickly dissipated, and the clear blue sky once again appeared in front of everyone's eyes. The 4 protectors of the 80-mile city hovered in the air above their heads. Everyone immediately looked at Haichiji's hand. When they saw that the ancient pill was still there, they relaxed. For protectors, what happened just now? Someone asked. Haichiji and Yin Fei's faces were cold, as if they had encountered something very unpleasant. Li Tian stood in the air with an indifferent expression and didn't speak. In the end, it was Enchanting who spoke. I'm sorry, everyone. Just now, we 4 protectors were studying that bottle of ancient pill. In the end, we came to the same conclusion. That bottle is indeed an ancient pill, and it's the long-lost Spirit Surge pill. The crowd was instantly excited. Spirit Surge pill? What kind of pill is that? I remember now. 2 years ago, there was a rumor in the North Sand continent that the Spirit Surge pill had appeared. I thought it was just a gimmick from the North Sand continent, but it seems like it's true. The Spirit Surge pill is a miraculous pill that can help cultivators without spiritual roots grow any spiritual root they want. I can't believe we can still see such a miraculous pill in the divine world today. When someone mentioned the effects of the Spirit Surge pill, the entire square was in an uproar. The Xingquan faction's disciples were dumbfounded. Su Wumian's eyes were filled with shock. This bottle of Spirit Surge pill was auctioned under their Xingquan Weapon Workshop's name. It was supposed to be a bottle of transforming energy pills. So how did it suddenly turn into a Spirit Surge pill? Grand Elder Wu Mian, what's going on with that bottle of Spirit Surge pill? A disciple couldn't help but ask. How could Su Wumian answer that question? He wanted to find someone else to ask. But in the next moment, a look of panic appeared on his face, as if he realized something serious had happened. Not good. Someone is deliberately framing our Xingquan Weapon Workshop. The disciples had never seen Grand Elder Wu Mian in such a panic before, so they immediately became nervous. Grand Elder Wu Mian, what happened? Su Wumian scolded after regaining his composure. Which bastard put the Spirit Surge pill under our Xingquan Weapon Workshop's name for auction? Isn't this harming us? Everyone knows how precious the Spirit Surge pill is. Now that everyone knows that the Xingquan Weapon Workshop has the Spirit Surge pill, some people might even think that the pill recipe is in Xingquan faction. What kind of disaster do you think Xingquan faction will face? After hearing Su Wumian's words, the disciples all revealed a look of horror. If the South Flat State spread the news that the Xingquan sect had the pill recipe for the Spirit Surge pill, in less than half a month, the huge 6-star sect would be razed to the ground. That's a bottle of Spirit Surge pill? Then what about my auction? The rogue cultivator, who got the Spirit Surge pill, didn't know whether to be happy or sad. Enchanting spoke again. This is a bottle of Spirit Surge pill, but it was auctioned under the name of Transforming Energy pill. I think it's very likely that Xingquan Weapon Workshop took the wrong pill, so this bottle won't count for now. We need to ask Xingquan faction's opinion. Hundreds of thousands of eyes immediately looked in the same direction, where the Xingquan faction disciples were standing. The disciples were trembling in fear. Even Su Wu Mian, who had stepped into the body condensation stage, felt he couldn't breathe. The cultivators on the square were like hungry wolves, ready to devour them at any moment. Where is the representative of Xingquan faction? Come out and explain. Seeing that there was no movement, Enchanting shouted again. Su Wumian could only bite the bullet and fly onto the auction stage. She said nervously, Xingquan faction disciple Su Wumian greets the 4 great protectors of 80-mile city. No need for formalities. What's with that bottle of Spirit Surge pill? Enchanting asked. Subconsciously, Su Wumian wanted to say that this was not an item auctioned by the Xingquan sect. But on second thought, this was a bottle of the long-lost ancient pill, the spirit charging pill. Every pill represented a chance for a cultivator, without a spirit root, to develop any spirit root. If it was taken back to the sect and given to some genius disciples, it would greatly increase the overall strength of the Xingquan sect. A few decades later, the Xingquan sect might become a 7-star sect of the South Flat continent. Why aren't you talking? Enchanting was getting impatient. Su Wumian woke up and immediately said, Enchanting Sr., this bottle of Spirit Surge pill was a mistake. Xingquan Weapon Workshop was going to auction the Energy Surge pill, but disciple took the wrong one. If that's the case, then the decision is in your hands. You can sell the spirit charge pill to that wandering cultivator at the same price as before, or you can give him a new bottle of energy melting pills. Enchanting's expression was one of anticipation. Su Wumian didn't need to make a decision. Everyone could guess that he would keep the spirit surge pill. As expected, Su Wumian cupped his fists at the sky and said, "Enchanting Senior, this time our Xingquan weapon workshop was careless. To show our sincerity, I will give the lone cultivator a bottle of energy surge pill, and give 1 million spirit stones to 80 Mile City." Enchanting nodded and said, "Good. 80 Mile City has always been fair. Since you took the wrong pill, you can change it. As for the 1 million spirit stones, you don't need to give it to 80 Mile City. Give it to that lone cultivator as compensation." Enchanting's selfless way of doing things was praised by many cultivators. Su Wumian immediately took out a bottle of soul-melting pills from her storage ring and gave it to the rogue cultivator, as well as 1 million spirit stones. Then she carefully took the spirit surge pill from Hai Qiji's hand and immediately threw it into her storage ring. Chapter 1977. Seeing a bottle of spirit surge pills fall into Su Wumian's hands, Hai Qiji and Yin Fei's faces froze. "Elder Su Wumian, please wait. Junior has a few questions to ask." Su Wumian was about to leave the stage when Qin Feng's voice came from the crowd. Su Wumian saw Qin Feng, and his face turned green. He and Qin Feng were mortal enemies. He didn't believe Qin Feng would ask any good questions. But Qin Feng's attitude was very sincere, so Su Wumian couldn't refuse or scold him in front of everyone. That would make him look like a gentleman. "Ask whatever you want. I still have important matters to attend to, so I'll be leaving soon." Su Wumian acted like a senior. Qin Feng smiled. "Elder Su Wumian, I'm very curious about your sex spirit surge pill. Rumor has it that this pill's recipe has been lost for a long time. Where did you get it?" This question touched everyone's heart. Hundreds of thousands of cultivators all stared at the stage. Su Wumian's palms were covered in cold sweat. He knew Qin Feng wouldn't ask any good questions. If he knew this earlier, he wouldn't care about his dignity and just left. But it was too late now. Su Wumian realized that if he didn't give everyone a satisfactory answer, he wouldn't be able to leave here in one piece. "The spirit surge pill was found by our sect leader, by chance in a cave dwelling in an ancient ruin. Originally, I planned to show it to everyone at the auction, and had no intention of auctioning it. Unexpectedly, a disciple of the sect was careless, and mistook the spirit surge pill for the Yuan transformation pill, and auctioned it off. This has brought inconvenience to everyone, please forgive me." Su Wumian was obviously an old fox. He made up a lie right away. Many cultivators believed him, but Qin Feng sneered inside. That spirit surge pill was clearly auctioned by him, under the name of Xingquan Smith Workshop. What ancient cave dwelling? It was all bullshit. "Oh, where is that ancient cave dwelling? There should be a lot of treasures in there, right?" Qin Feng continued to ask. The crowd on the square was boiling. An ancient ruin cave abode was a fortuitous encounter that everyone yearned for. Many famous mighty figures in the South Flat continent had encountered an ancient ruin cave abode when they were young. The fiendish cultivator Protector Li Tian, who was floating in the air, was one of them. Su Wumian felt even more guilty. How could there be an ancient cave dwelling? This was all a lie he made up on the spot. However, he had already said it, so there was no reason for him to take it back. Otherwise, the matter of the spirit surge pill would definitely be exposed. Cough cough. As we all know, the Immortal's cave abode in the ancient ruins is something that can only be discovered by luck. How can I casually reveal such a place? Moreover, my sect leader has never mentioned the location of the Immortal's cave abode in front of me. I don't even know where it is. This explanation was reasonable, and the square was filled with sighs of despair. So it's like that. Qin Feng thought for a while. Su Wumian thought he had nothing else to ask. Just as he wiped the sweat off his forehead, Qin Feng continued. But I saw that the bottle of spirit surge pill wasn't formed that long ago. It's at most 2 years old. How could it be from an ancient ruin cave abode? This question hit the nail on the head. The cultivators on the square immediately reacted. When they thought back to the spirit surge pill they saw before, they were sure that it wasn't that old. In terms of observation of the spirit surge pill, the four great protectors of the 80-mile city had the most detailed observation. Especially Haichiji. He had personally grabbed the bottle of spirit surge pill and examined it closely for a long time. When Qin Feng pointed out his suspicions, Haichiji's expression changed drastically. He was sure that the bottle of spirit surge pill was only 2 years old. From the looks of it, Xing Kuan sect's Grand Elder Su Wumian was lying. Su Wumian immediately felt countless divine sense sweep over his body. It felt like he was stripped naked and being stared at by hundreds of thousands of people. Among these divine senses were a large number of Saint Kings and Buddha-light ants. Normally, if these kinds of ants dared to use their divine sense to look at his body, he would have slapped them to death. You don't talk nonsense. That bottle of spirit surge pill was found by the sect head in an ancient ruin cave abode. Su Wumian glared at Qin Feng angrily. If looks could kill, Qin Feng would have died 1,000 times already. Qin Feng acted like he didn't know anything and said, "As for the age of that bottle of spirit surge pill, I think anyone with a discerning eye can see something fishy. I don't understand what Grand Elder Su Wumian is trying to hide by lying. Could it be that the spirit surge pill wasn't found in the ancient cave abode? Then where did it come from?" Su Wumian was speechless. How would he know where that bottle of spirit surge pills came from? He only knew which crazy cultivator was auctioning the spirit surge pill in the name of the Xing Kuan weapon workshop. Seeing that Su Wumian didn't reply, the crowd began to discuss. Looks like the spirit surge pill really wasn't found in the ancient ruin cave abode. Rumor has it that 2 years ago, the spirit surge pill appeared in the North Sand continent. The age of that spirit surge pill is just right. Could it be that the Xing Kuan sect bought it from the North Sand continent? Perhaps the rumor of the spirit surge pill appearing in the North Sand continent is true, but the spirit surge pill would never reach the South Flat continent. Such a miraculous pill must be in short supply in the North Sand continent. Why would the people there be willing to sell it to the South Flat continent? I know. Could it be that the Xing Kuan sect obtained the pill recipe for the spirit surge pill? That bottle of spirit surge pill was made by them. The imagination of hundreds of thousands of cultivators was heaven-defying. Very soon, someone said what Qin Feng was thinking. The reason why Qin Feng went through so much trouble to auction the spirit surge pill in the name of the Xing Kuan weapon workshop was to make the Xing Kuan weapon workshop fall into the water and make everyone suspect that the Xing Kuan sect was secretly hiding the pill recipe. Now that he had achieved his goal, Qin Feng believed that even if he didn't do anything to the Xing Kuan sect in the future, there would be other sects and people who would cause trouble for the Xing Kuan sect. Don't talk nonsense. This bottle of spirit surge pill was really found by the sect leader in the ancient cave abode. TSK. The crowd snorted. Su Wumian's eyes were about to pop out. She had no choice but to shout. Alright, I admit that the spirit surge pill doesn't belong to the Xing Kuan sect. I wonder who auctioned this bottle under the name of the Xing Kuan weapon workshop. I hope that cultivator can step forward and seek justice for the Xing Kuan sect. This was definitely not an era for telling the truth, whether it was on Earth or the Divine Supreme Mainland. Do you think we're idiots? Who would auction such a valuable spirit surge pill under someone else's name? Isn't that crazy? Grand Elder Wu Mian, there's no need to quibble. The more you explain, the more it shows that you're guilty. I think there's an 80% chance that your sect obtained the pill formula for the spirit surge pill. This pill formula can benefit all the cultivators of the South Flat continent. Your sect is a 6-star sect after all, so you should be impartial and announce the pill formula to the public. No wonder the Xing Kuan sect has been developing so quickly in recent years. It's almost catching up to a 7-star sect. So it's because they secretly hid the pill recipe. Chapter 1978. Su Wumian wanted to cry but no tears came out. If only Xing Kuan sect had the recipe for the spirit surge pill. Why would he be tricked by a mere bottle of spirit surge pill? At this moment, Su Wumian hated the bastard who used the Xing Kuan Smith workshop to auction the spirit surge pill. If he knew his identity, he would definitely kill him. However, now was not the time to talk about revenge. The most important thing was to clear up everyone's misunderstanding of Xing Kuan sect. But Su Wumian knew that no matter how he explained, no one would believe him. Senior Xi and Hai, Xing Kuan sect still has some business to take care of. I must return to the sect immediately. Su Wumian planned to take the spirit surge pill and run. Yin Fei and Hai Qiji stared at him coldly, like he was a piece of fat meat that was about to fly away. Xi and Hai's expression remained calm as he waved his hand and said, "Whether you stay or leave is your own choice. The 4 protectors of the 80-mile city will not force you to stay." Su Wumian sighed in relief. He wasn't afraid of the hundreds of thousands of cultivators on the square. He was more worried that the protectors of the 80-mile city would target the spirit surge pill. This was the territory of the 80-mile city. If Xi and Hai and the other protectors wanted the spirit surge pill, Su Wumian wouldn't be able to resist. "Apologies, fellow cultivators, I'll be leaving first." Su Wumian clasped his hands and disappeared on his flying sword. He didn't plan on leaving the 80-mile city right away. He wanted to send the news of the spirit surge pill back to Xing Kuan sect and wait for the sect leader's arrangements. Su Wumian's departure caused a wave of sighs in the square. This meant that a bottle of spirit surge pill had flown away just like that. The auction continued as normal. However, many cultivators were still immersed in the excitement of the spirit surge pill and didn't care about the items being auctioned. This was what Qin Feng wanted to achieve. Even though he was at Nihility God Realm level 3, he wasn't confident that he could take on Xing Kuan sect, the Immortal Gourd, and the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company at the same time. Plus, he had to bring his father and grandfather with him. Now that the news of Xing Kuan sect hiding the spirit surge pill had spread like wildfire, Su Wumian was under a lot of pressure. He couldn't even take care of his own matters. How could he have the time to deal with Qin Feng? As such, Qin Feng's only enemies were the Celestial Gourd and the dominating Heaven Furnace firm. As for Mu Feng and Mu He and the Immortal Gourd, he wasn't afraid of them. The dominating Heaven Furnace firm would at most send out Kilio and Hai Meng, but they wouldn't be able to threaten Qin Feng. Qin Feng didn't have much hope for the large auction in the 80-kilometer city. Just as he was about to sneak away, the spirit-seeking bug in the system gave off a strong response. "Little pig, what treasure did the spirit-seeking bug find?" Qin Feng immediately stopped. After several treasure hunts, he was already very optimistic about the spirit-seeking bug's treasure hunting ability. Even the mountain of life was sensed by the spirit-seeking bug. "I don't know exactly what treasure it is, but judging from the spirit-seeking bug's intense reaction, it should be a very powerful treasure," Little Pig said excitedly. Qin Feng immediately looked in the direction the spirit-seeking bug was sensing. His gaze fell on the auction stage. At this moment, a new item was pushed onto the stage. It was a long and wide ruler. The ruler was made of some unknown material. It was jet black and looked like a piece of broken stone. The treasure sensed by the spirit-seeking bug was that broken stone. "What the hell is this? Why is a broken stone being auctioned? What a waste of everyone's time. How many items are there in the 80-kilometer city's auction? Is there a treasure more amazing than the spirit-charging pill? The following items are all personal items. I don't think there will be any treasures. Everyone, let's go." The stone was placed on the display shelf, causing everyone to ridicule it. Director Hu said with an awkward expression, "Everyone, please calm down. This item was put up for auction by a wandering cultivator. According to the registration information, that wandering cultivator doesn't know what it is. It might be a rare treasure. The starting price is 100,000 high-quality spirit stones. Each increment must be no less than 10,000 spirit stones." When it came to rare treasures, everyone naturally understood. Rare treasures were like miraculous pills. They were rare treasures. However, true rare treasures were very difficult to distinguish. It was possible that you wouldn't recognize it even if it was placed in front of you. Every year in the 80-kilometer city, there would be some wandering cultivators who put up rare treasures for auction. They didn't even know what those items were. They just came to try their luck. Maybe some powerful cultivators would recognize it and buy it at a high price. In the beginning, when rare treasures were put up for auction, everyone fought fiercely. However, after a few years of auction, everyone found that many of those so-called rare treasures were useless. Therefore, the popularity of rare treasures gradually died down. Now the starting price of rare treasures was only 100,000 spirit stones. When Director Hu shouted the starting price, the square became unusually quiet. Any previous auction item would attract many cultivators to bid for it. However, at this time, no one wanted the stone on the stage. Using such a rare treasure to cheat people? Do you think we're stupid? What the hell is that thing? It looks like a ruler, but it's made of stone. What can it be used for? It can't even chop firewood. Director Hua, let's move on to the next auction item. No one will want this broken stone. The square was filled with shouts. Director Hua's face was full of embarrassment. Just as he was about to change the next item, a sudden voice came from the crowd. 110,000 spirit stones. Hundreds of thousands of gazes swept towards the source of the voice. They wanted to see which idiot cultivator wanted to spend 100,000 spirit stones to buy a broken stone. When they saw the face of the cultivator who shouted the bid, many people came to a sudden realization. The one who called out the bid was the young cultivator, who had bid against the immortal gourd for 88 cultivation furnaces not long ago. Later, he had even publicly questioned the Grand Elder of Star Kuan sect about the Spirit Surge pill. In the eyes of everyone, these two actions were very idiotic. He had offended two 6-star sects for no reason. Many cultivators had long suspected that there was something wrong with Qin Fun's brain. Seeing that it was him who stood up to shout the price, it was understandable. Qin Fun couldn't be bothered with everyone's discussion. He was worried about another matter. Although he couldn't see what the stone was, since the spirit-seeking bug showed such a strong reaction, it meant that it was a rare treasure. Qin Fun was afraid that some almighty would also see the treasure. If there was really a cauldron-filling state almighty who jumped out to bid, Qin Fun wondered if he should withdraw. However, after a while he realized that he seemed to be thinking too much. There were no other cultivators who were interested in that broken stone with the shape of a ruler. Is there anyone else who wants to bid for this treasure? Don't be fooled by its appearance. It looks just like a broken stone. Maybe there is an unknown treasure hidden inside. Director Hu tried to confuse the crowd again. After all, the final price of 110,000 spirit stones was too low. Not to mention the fact that the 80-mile city basically wouldn't get any money. Just the news of it would be embarrassing enough. However, his words were useless. Most of the cultivators in the square had come to the 80-mile city's auction before. Director Hu also said the same thing in the previous auctions. He didn't even change his words. 120,000 high-grade spirit stones. However, just as Director Hu was about to close the deal, another voice suddenly came out. Everyone immediately looked over and saw that it was Tyrannical Furnace Firm's Kirio who was bidding. Not long ago, Tyrannical Furnace Firm sold the 88 human furnaces for 100 million high-grade spirit stones and 3 low-grade true artifacts. It could be said that they made a lot of money. After that, Mu Feng and Mu He tried to bargain with Kirio, but were mercilessly rejected. When Qin Fun saw Kirio come out to bid, he immediately understood the other party's intention. With Kirio's experience, it was impossible for him to recognize the mystery of the stone. Moreover, he deliberately increased the price by 10,000 spirit stones. This was clearly going against him. Qin Fun knew that if he increased the price again, the other party would also increase the price. He had used this trick on Mu He and Mu Feng not long ago, but he didn't expect that he would be counterattacked. However, he couldn't back down. Otherwise, he might miss out on a treasure. After some careful consideration, Qin Fun shouted again. I didn't expect Tyrannical Furnace Firm's Elder Kirio to also have his eyes on this treasure. However, I advise you to withdraw as soon as possible because I am determined to obtain this treasure. Kirio was furious in front of everyone. You ant cultivator, do you know how to speak? This old man's name is Kirio. Don't call me that if you don't know me. Qin Fun was deliberately angering him to make him lose his mind. As if he couldn't see the other party's anger, he laughed and said, "Elder Kirio, why are you so angry? Of course I know your name is Kirio. But don't you think it's very intimate for me to call you Kirio?" Kirio. A burst of laughter came from the square. "You aunt, besides being good at arguing, what other skills do you have? This old man is too lazy to talk nonsense with you. Are you going to increase the price or not?" Kirio was angry. Chinfun looked at him with a smile and said, "Of course I will increase the price. I just said that this treasure is a peerless treasure. No matter how much you increase it, I will accompany you to the end. How about this? Not long ago your tyrannical furnace firm made a lot of money. Let's play a bit bigger and increase the price by 10 million spirit stones. How about it? I bid 10 million high-grade spirit stones." When Chinfun's words fell, the square burst into an uproar. Everyone had seen rich cultivators, but they had never seen a cultivator as rich as Chinfun. In the eyes of everyone, Chinfun couldn't even be described as rich. This guy spending 10 million spirit stones to buy a broken stone was simply an idiotic action. When the bid of 10 million was shouted, Chinfun looked at Kirio with a playful expression. However, Kirio's expression became even more proud as he faced the sky and laughed. "Haha, surname Chin grandson, do you really think this old man is an idiot? You want to bid 10 million for a broken stone? Are you out of your mind? Since you have so much money, this old man will let you have it. That broken stone is yours. Ha ha ha." So it turned out that Kirio deliberately dug a pit for Chinfun. This trick was exactly the same as when Chinfun cheated the immortal gourd. However, Chinfun was sneering in his heart. How could he not see through Kirio's thoughts? He deliberately raised the price of the stone from 100,000 to 10 million, just to trick Kirio into leaving. To any cultivator in the square, spending 10 million spirit stones to buy a piece of trash was absolutely an idiotic action. However, only Chinfun firmly believed that spending 10 million spirit stones was worth it. Let alone 10 million. If Kirio still wanted to increase the price, Chinfun would definitely fight to the end. Chapter 1979. Kirio was still laughing nonstop, as if he had just eaten a fart. He had suffered many losses in Chinfeng's hands these past few days. Now that he thought he had cheated Chinfeng, he became complacent. "Elder Kirio, don't laugh yourself to death. Isn't it just 10 million spirit stones? Is there a need to be so exaggerated?" Chinfeng realized that the wondrous stone was in his hands, and was in a good mood. Kirio's face turned cold, but he quickly revealed a playful smile. "Grandson surnamed Chin, don't pretend to be calm. No one would feel good after being cheated of 10 million spirit stones. Just treat this as me teaching you a lesson. Learn from your mistakes, and don't be such an idiot in the future." Chinfun said indifferently. According to what Elder Gigi said, the two elders of the immortal gourd spent 100 million upper-grade spirit stones and 3 low-grade true artifacts to buy 88 cultivation furnaces. Shouldn't they be committing suicide now? You said I'm an idiot. That means the two elders of the immortal gourd are worse than idiots. Kirio almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He angrily roared, "Surname Chin, don't slander me. When did I say the immortal gourd elders are worse than idiots? Although you didn't say it, that's what you think in your heart. Bullshit. This old man is an upright person. How could I speak ill of others behind their backs?" Kirio's face turned red, because he really thought that way. Originally, the discussion was about Chinfun spending 10 million spirit stones to buy a useless rock. However, Elder Immortal Gourd was somehow involved. At this time, Mu He and Mu Feng were still standing in the plaza. They were planning to target Chinfun and take their revenge. In the end, they almost fainted from anger when they heard Chinfeng and Kirito describe them as worse than idiots. "Elder Kirio, don't say any more. Our immortal gourd is no longer in contact with the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company. Is it fun to slander us behind our backs?" Mu Feng could no longer hold back the anger in his heart and roared. Kirio was at a loss. It was clearly Chinfeng who brought up the previous matter. What did it have to do with him? "Elder Mu Feng, don't fall into that surname Chin's trap again. He's obviously trying to sow discord between us. From the beginning to the end, I've never said that you're worse than an idiot, Kirio said angrily. Mu Feng gritted his teeth, and a violent surge of true essence surged from his body. However, he did not dare to make a move, because he was within 80 kilometers of the city. I told you to shut up. Let's not bring up the past. Let's mind our own business from now on. Seeing Mu Feng's vile attitude, how could Kirito swallow it? He roared. If you don't want to interact with us, then don't. With your intelligence, do you think our dominating Heaven Furnace trading firm wants to have a deep relationship with you? You. A mouthful of blood surged up Mu Feng's throat, but he forcefully swallowed it back down. Seeing that the two of them were about to fight, a violent true essence suddenly fell from the sky. In midair, that true essence automatically separated and crashed into Mu Feng and Kirito's bodies. Two loud sounds seemed to explode at the same time. Mu Feng flew backwards and spat out a mouthful of blood. Kirito flew even further, and didn't stand up for a long time. You've broken the rules of 80 kilometers of the city time and time again. Do you really think that us four protectors don't exist? Enchanting's cold voice resounded, making it hard for the crowd to breathe. For a moment the crowd was shocked. That dominating Heaven Furnace trading firm's Kirito was a Nihility God stage, level 3 demon cultivator. The great elder of the immortal gourd Mu Feng was rumored to have stepped into the body condensation realm. Yet these two powerful beings were as weak as ants in front of Enchanting. Senior Enchanting, please calm your anger. This junior was reckless. This junior will retreat now. Mu Feng didn't dare to have any resentment. He didn't even care about his injuries as he started to plead. Kirito forced himself to climb up and bowed 90 degrees. Kirito knows his mistake. I hope Senior Enchanting will show mercy. Enchanting didn't have any killing intent. Otherwise, the two of them would have already died. How would he have the chance to plead? Retreat immediately. Don't be an eyesore. Just as Enchanting finished speaking, Kirito and Mu Feng immediately retreated. Director He woke up and quickly mediated. Young hero Qin has bid 10 million spirit stones to buy the treasure. Is there anyone else? After waiting for a while, no one called out a price. Director He made the final decision. Congratulations, young hero Qin. You've won a treasure. Please go to the back and handle the handover procedures. Qin Feng heaved a sigh of relief when he finally got the strange stone. He immediately rushed to the place where the handover procedures were handled and took out 10 million upper-grade spirit stones to exchange for the strange stone. The stone was in the shape of a long and wide ruler. It was about 1.5 meters long. It was unknown what material it was made of, but it was extremely heavy. Even when Qin Feng grabbed the stone for the first time, he didn't manage to lift it. He had to use his true energy again to barely lift the stone. The spirit-seeking bug responded even more strongly in his mind. Even Little Pig was extremely excited. However, the two of them didn't know the origin of the stone. They just felt that it was not simple. Qin Feng could only find a corner, with fewer people to study it. When he used his divine sense to scan the stone, he found that the stone seemed to be boundless. The end of his divine sense was just darkness. He couldn't see the end. That dark realm was very magical. It gave Qin Feng a mysterious and strange feeling. It was as if he had never been to that place before. It really is a treasure. Although he still didn't know the origin of the stone, Qin Feng realized that it was unusual. He also found that there was a seal engraved on the stone. The level of the seal was extremely high. With his current formation skills, he couldn't understand it. However, the seal had been sealed for a long time. He could use refining methods to gradually refine the seal. Unfortunately, Qin Feng's refining skills were very ordinary. He couldn't help but think that it was time to study refining knowledge. After fiddling with it for a while, Qin Feng put the strange stone away. He was in a very dangerous situation right now. It wasn't the time to study the strange stone. He named this strange stone Songqi. This stone was obtained in the 80-mile city near Tsang Island. It looked like a ruler, so it was named Songqi after the auction. A few more treasures appeared that attracted the crowd. However, none of them caught Qin Feng's attention. When the auction ended, Qin Feng didn't go to the inn to find his father and grandfather. Because he suddenly obtained the Songqi, he changed his plan. He planned to go to Tsang Island alone to participate in the Sword Realm competition. After the competition, he would come back to pick up his father and grandfather. Qin Feng made this decision after careful consideration. Although no one else bid against him for the Tsangqi other than Kirito, who could be sure that no one else had discovered the secret of the Tsangqi. After all, there were hundreds of thousands of cultivators gathered in the 80-mile city. Among them, there was no lack of body condensation, or even cauldron-filling state cultivators. Could it be that those cauldron-filling state cultivators didn't notice anything fishy? Qin Feng took advantage of the chaos to find Xinhai. He promised Xinhai that he would meet him at the Sword Mountain in a month and challenge the Sword Realm on behalf of Xinhai's disciples. So Qin Feng didn't need to be polite with Xinhai. He went straight to the point. Qianbei, I will definitely appear at the Sword Mountain in a month. However, I still have things to take care of during this time. I hope Qianbei can help me take care of my father and grandfather. Xi and Hai had met Qin Emperor and Qin Shitian in the dominating Heaven Furnace Trading Company, but he didn't know the relationship between them and Qin Fen until now. He couldn't help but feel puzzled. Qin Fen had reached the peak stage of the real spirit realm at such a young age. So why was his father and grandfather so weak that they hadn't even broken through the Buddha light? He didn't ask and said firmly, "Go in peace. With me at the 80-mile city, no one will dare to bully your family." After a pause, Xinhai added, "After you leave the 80-mile city, be careful of the celestial gourd people." Even if Xinhai didn't remind him, Qin Feng knew that Mu He and Mu Feng wanted to kill him. He cupped his hands at Xinhai to express his gratitude and left the 80-mile city immediately. Because the auction had just ended, countless cultivators left the 80-mile city. Qin Feng could even see many flying swords and flying artifacts flying past him after flying for dozens of miles. He didn't care about others, even Mu He and Mu Feng temporarily. His divine sense covered the area 10 miles around him, searching for cultivators with powerful divine senses. In the beginning, he could still sense a few cultivators above the body condensation realm following him. But gradually, those powerful cultivators disappeared. Now there were no real powerful cultivators following him. Qin Feng didn't dare to be careless. He increased his speed and flew for hundreds of miles. During this time, there was no powerful divine sense. It seemed that there were no powerful cultivators following him. Qin Feng let out a sigh of relief. He realized that he might have worried too much. It seemed that no one had discovered the secret of Tsangqi otherwise. Those powerful cultivators would have followed him. After flying for half a day, there were very few cultivators around. The scenery around him changed from a wilderness to a lush green forest. According to the map, Qin Feng flew for another 50 miles in the northwest direction and officially entered the Tsang Island. Qin Feng put away his flying sword and landed in a forest. He stood there with his hands behind his back, as if he was waiting for someone. In less than half an hour, a large flying ship landed in the forest. A group of cultivators wearing gourd robes came down from the flying ship. "Qin Feng, let's see where you can run to now." Mu He cursed as soon as he got off the flying ship. It was clear that he hated Qin Feng very much. Mu Feng stood under the flying ship and didn't say anything. His face was even worse than Mu He's. As for the 6 gourd disciples that followed him, they rushed to Qin Feng and surrounded him. "I was wondering why I felt that there were a few stray dogs chasing me. So it's you guys." Qin Feng's expression didn't change in the face of the disciples. Mu He gritted his teeth and shouted, "You're just an ant. How dare you be so stubborn in the face of death? I advise you to hand over 100 million spirit stones and 3 low-grade true weapons. If I'm in a good mood, I might spare your life." It seemed that Mu He and Mu Feng had been cheated by the auction. Otherwise, they wouldn't have mentioned the spirit stones first. They would have killed Qin Feng without hesitation. P.S. I haven't asked for monthly votes for a long time. This month, I'm going to rush to the monthly votes list. Those who like this book, please support me. Use your most beautiful gesture to throw the monthly votes at me. Thank you very much. Chapter 1980. Qin Feng looked at Mu He as if he was looking at an idiot. "Who do you think you are? How dare you threaten me? Mu He was stunned and couldn't understand what was going on. He couldn't understand where Qin Feng got his confidence from. He was just a true spirit cultivator. Even if he could kill Mu Jingyi, who was at the peak stage of the true spirit realm, he couldn't possibly fight a void god stage powerhouse. Moreover, senior brother Mu Feng was at the body condensation stage. Before Mu He could make a move, Mu Feng suddenly said, "You're at the peak stage of the true spirit realm at such a young age. I heard from junior brother Mu He that you killed Mu Jingyi's disciple in an instant. You must be a genius. The cultivation level of the South Flat continent is much lower than that of the West Sea continent and East Field continent. It would be a pity to see a genius like you die." Mu He looked at his senior brother in surprise, not understanding what he was trying to say. Qin Feng couldn't understand his senior brother's thoughts, but he knew that he and the Celestial Gourd had developed to the point where their feud couldn't be resolved. How could Mu Feng suddenly change for the better? He simply kept silent and waited for the other party to reveal his fox tail. Mu Feng put on the demeanor of an expert and continued, "My Celestial Gourd is one of the rare 6-star sects in the South Flat continent. Do you have any thoughts of joining us?" The 6 Celestial Gourd disciples were shocked. They even suspected that Elder Mu Feng's brain wasn't working. Mu He said anxiously, "Senior brother, that ant killed our disciple. How can we let him go? You want to take him in as a disciple?" Mu Feng glared at Mu He but didn't say anything. He looked at Qin Feng and continued, "What do you think of my suggestion? If you join the Celestial Gourd, you'll be nurtured with endless cultivation resources, and your cultivation will increase rapidly." The Celestial Gourd disciples were speechless. There was clearly something fishy about the enemy suddenly throwing out all sorts of bait. Qin Feng wasn't a fool and wouldn't be tricked by Mu Feng's flowery words. "Don't try to fool me, you dog. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old? Mu Feng suppressed his anger, but pretended to be calm. He indeed didn't want to take Qin Feng in as a disciple. He suddenly had a new plan. Not long ago, Xinkuan sect's Su Wumian recognized Qin Feng at the auction and almost fought him. Earlier, the Xinkuan sect had issued a citywide wanted order in the Panshan market, offering a high bounty for a cultivator. This matter had spread like wildfire, so Mu Feng had naturally heard of it. Mu Feng keenly captured that Qin Feng was a wanted person by the Xinkuan sect. Rumor had it that the Xinkuan sect wanted Qin Feng because of a key that could open the Mountain of Life. Looking at how Qin Feng had reached the peak of the true spirit realm at such a young age, and was extremely wealthy, Mu Feng was even more certain that Qin Feng had obtained the key, and could even open the door of life. "Young hero Qin, you misunderstand. I sincerely want to take you as my disciple." Mu Feng had a kind expression on his face. Perhaps killing a peak true spirit disciple is a big deal in your and Mu He's eyes, but it's nothing much in my eyes. At my level, I hope to see the South Flat continent cultivators unite and raise their cultivation level to the same level as the West Sea continent or even the East Field continent. Disciple Mu Jingyi can't come back to life. Revenge breeds revenge. If you agree to come back to the Celestial Gourd sect with me, we'll write off all our grievances. You just need to cultivate in the Celestial Gourd, strengthen the Celestial Gourd sect, and contribute to the prosperity of the South Flat continent. Mu Feng said that he cared about the world. He was on a completely different level. However, when the same words came out of Mu Feng's mouth, Qin Feng felt that it was extremely awkward. However, when it came out of the mouths of Taoist Barefoot and Exine High, Qin Feng felt admiration for them. "Senior brother, you." Mu He was about to go crazy. Before he could finish his sentence, he was severely interrupted by Mu Feng. "Shut up. Do you know why your cultivation hasn't improved? It's because your state of mind hasn't transcended the ordinary. When you have my state of mind, you won't need to cultivate hard, and your cultivation will naturally increase." "Mu He, young hero Qin, what do you think?" Mu Feng looked at Qin Feng again, and his expression became calm like a chameleon. Qin Feng sneered in his heart, but pretended to be serious. "It's not impossible to join the Celestial Gourd." Mu He and the 6 disciples gritted their teeth. Mu Feng was secretly delighted. "Then young hero Qin agrees. How about you come back to the sect with us now? There's no hurry. If you want me to join the celestial gourd, you must first acknowledge me as your master. Kowtow and acknowledge me as your master now. Qin Feng smiled. Mu Feng was stunned. When he regained his senses, his expression turned cold. Qin, don't refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. You're right. I like to drink forfeit. Stop putting on an act. Are you trying to trick me? You're still too inexperienced. Realizing that Qin Feng had been teasing him, Mu Feng could no longer suppress the anger in his heart. He roared, "Little ant, I wanted you to tell me the secret of the gate of life. Since you don't want to cooperate, then die." Violent true essence surged from Mu Feng's body. He struck out with his palm, and a huge true essence hand appeared in the air. Qin Feng already knew that this old man was scheming, but he didn't expect him to guess the secret of him going to the mountain of life. The matter of the mountain of life was very important. Once the news spread, Qin Feng would be chased to the ends of the earth by countless cultivators. Boom! However, before Mu Feng struck out, Qin Feng had already prepared himself. Several silver lights flashed and brought about a violent sound. The bodies of the 6 celestial gourd disciples that surrounded Qin Feng exploded. They didn't even understand the situation before they died. The dragon trembling spear killed 6 venerable true spirit masters in one strike. However, Qin Feng felt that it was strenuous for him to even look at the disciples. His hand didn't stop as he stabbed the spear at the stunned Mu He. The silver light shot out like a rain of arrows into the sky. By the time Mu He woke up, his body had already been enveloped by the explosion of true essence. He immediately took out a defensive treasure and put on a defensive armor, but the violent explosion sounded out one after another in his ears. The spear light seemed to be invincible, easily breaking through all the obstacles and finally breaking through his body. "You dare!" Mu Feng roared angrily, but it was too late. The ferocious true essence collided with Mu He's body. His body instantly exploded into pieces. Even the 4 clones that were fleeing in panic couldn't escape, and were scattered by the aftermath of the explosion. Qin Feng killed 7 people with one strike, including a Nihility God Stage Level 4 Venerable True Spirit Master. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. When Qin Feng's spear landed on Mu He's head, the true essence hand that Mu Feng had created also landed on the forest. The trees within 100 meters radius collapsed, creating a huge crater. Qin Feng didn't have time to dodge, and was slammed into the deep crater. Mu Feng looked at the scene of blood flowing like a river. He couldn't even see the figures of his junior brother and the 6 disciples anymore. He was instantly enraged and spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. "Ant with the surname Qin, this old man wants you to die a horrible death." The gigantic palm print floated into the air once again, like a meteorite falling rapidly into the pit. The palm print rapidly expanded as it fell, eventually covering the entire pit like a huge cloud falling down. True essence shot out in all directions. The power of a body condensation stage powerhouse exceeded Qin Feng's expectations. This was a completely different concept from a Nihility God Stage cultivator. The true essence became incomparably pure, and the attack it formed was almost tangible. The hidden power seemed to be able to destroy the heavens and earth. Everywhere it went, an aura of death rose. Just as the true essence hand was about to fall, numerous black lights shot out from the cracks. There were originally only a few black lights, but they quickly broke through the true essence hand print and formed thousands of black lights that soared into the sky. The black lights contained a strange magnetic field that instantly froze the surrounding air. The rapidly falling palm print finally stopped and floated above the crater, forming a rare and spectacular scene. "You've comprehended the realm? How is this possible?" Mu Feng's eyes were filled with shock. He even forgot about the attack in his hand. Qin Feng rushed out of the crater on his flying sword and floated above the true essence hand. His clothes were tattered and his face was dirty. He looked extremely miserable, but his black eyes shot out a bright light that gave people an oppressive feeling that was hard to look directly at. "Your Celestial Gourd sect is a 6-star sect in the South Flat Continent, but you secretly raise spirit insects. Not only do you buy cauldrons to feed the spirit insects, But you also release information for cultivators to explore the 10,000 insect valley. In fact, you're using them as food for the spirit insects. How shameless. When Qin Feng first met Mu He at the dominating Cauldron Trading Company, he had some guesses. However, these were just his guesses and had not been confirmed. After saying this, Mu Feng's expression changed drastically, and his voice was about to freeze. How do you know the secret of the Celestial Gourd sect? Qin Feng realized that his guesses were all true. This fact shocked him. He understood many things now. No wonder there was a rumor that there was a level 9 cordyceps in the 1,000 Insect Valley. The last time he went deep into the 1,000 Insect Valley, and even fell into the 1,000 Lotus Lake, he couldn't find a trace of the cordyceps. This news was obviously fake. As a 6-star sect in the South Flat Continent, the Celestial Gourd sect actually had such great ambitions to secretly raise spirit insects. Their goal was most likely to become a 7-star sect, or even dominate the entire South Flat Continent. 2,000 years ago, the Divine Supreme Continent suffered from the insect calamity. The entire continent was almost dominated by spirit insects. Yet your Celestial Gourd still dared to raise spirit insects. Aren't you afraid that the insect calamity will happen again? Qin Feng said angrily. Mu Feng laughed. Haha, what does the insect calamity have to do with the Celestial Gourd? If the Divine Supreme Continent is really occupied by spirit insects one day, it's because the human cultivators are useless. Don't push the blame to the Celestial Gourd. Since you know the secret of the Celestial Gourd, I can't let you live. Don't think that you can escape death just because you've comprehended the realm. I'll let you see the true power of the body condensation realm. After saying that, a violent magnetic field was formed. The black radiance around Qin Feng's body dissipated quickly and was replaced by a white radiance. A loud sound exploded in the forest. Mu Feng's true essence hand floated in the air for a long time before falling again, instantly raising a cloud of dust. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.